Hello, it's Tuesday, and today we're gonna try some Cultist Simulator, I think. Hopefully it'll work properly. I very much last second got set it up before switching to my stream timer, so hopefully everything's working. I didn't check the sound, but it'll probably be fine. Cultist Simulator, bring the dawn. So I have this on Android as well. On Android, I also have all the DLC, but the DLC doesn't really matter if you're just starting from the beginning and wanting to do some of the normal beginning playthroughs. The DLC mostly adds a few different ways to win or play. Aspirant. Alone in this chilly city with my useless education and my dreams. What now? Could I become something more? We should have what's a good cultist name? Let's see, what would be a good cultist name? Well, just this Infernus. And we start with, so in Cultist Simulator, we have these buttons, which are, ooh, I don't know that I like how this UI floats like this. The angle here kind of bothers me. Can I do something about that? That doesn't seem to do anything. I don't know what bird and worm options do. Accessible card text? I don't know what's that's done, if anything. I could make the bottom UI bigger, but that's not a problem. Yeah, I just don't like this angle that the screen is in. Oh well, I guess I'll get used to it after a little while. So, we have work, which earn a living or practice the invisible arts. We can have our menial employment. A precarious position as a hospital porter. Miserable, but it's all that you can find just now. So all we can do right now is work at our menial employment. We'll take 10 seconds. And we can go faster than it says. So, halfway through your shift, the head porter beckons you aside. We won't require your services any longer, he says. Here, your last payment. We paid you through the end of the month. I have lost my job. At least now I have a little time to rest and my health improves. Dream is unlocked. So we got 2 funds, and we got health. Let's see, and we want to start arranging things. I'm going to put my health over here. I feel like my table is smaller than it is in the Android version too. I don't know. And I'll have funds be up here. I'm going to move these up more. Now we have the dream verb. Once again, I dream of a glow beneath the filthy skin of the world. The light through the black wood, the pale door, the old man. And I guess I will do unskilled labor. Backbreaking work for meager pay. Is this the best I can do? We'll do that. It began when I spoke to the old man in the hospital. He knew my name, but he's dead now, the pneumonia. Why do I dream of him still? What is the cobalt light in my dreams? Yeah, time is now passing. We got contentment and passion. And the study verb has appeared. A change in the air. I need funds to live, but perhaps this recent upset in my circumstances is a secret blessing. Is there something to my dreams? There is a change in the air. Now we have the bad button. This is time passes. It's going to consume our funds because we need funds to live. Time. The sundial shadow passes. I must have funds to live or I will become ill. And it also will be triggering other things to happen. Unskilled labor. The day is done and so am I, but I've earned my pay. My health is fatigued. I will dream on it to recover it. Nap to recover from fatigue. That'll recover it more quickly than just waiting. So that I'll be able to work again. A bequest arrives. A letter from a solicitor. The old man at the hospital, the one I dream of, has named me in his will. I'll hear more soon. Ooh. My health is done. Do that. Well, let's work again. Keep getting some funds. A bequest arrives. The old man has bequeathed me a sum of money and a packet of peculiar papers. Poetry, riddles, metaphysical speculations. For the first time in months, here is some fuel for my reason. Study is unlocked. A bequest and reason. A package of peculiar papers for my correspondence executor. I must study it using either passion or reason. So let's see, who is here? Good. Anyway. I'm going to let that sit just for a little bit, see if Rayburst or CeeLo01 come on and have a preference. Although I guess I can always change it, I think. For now, let's read some sentimental literature. If I proposed to learn anything, I wouldn't be reading this stuff. Now the ominous music is in full swing. There are quite a lot of ways to win and lose this game. I'll mention some of the ways to lose when they become a little bit more immediate. Alright, we've read our sentimental literature. I've passed the time. I've been inclined to tears and afterwards inclined to laughter. Meanwhile, the world continues. We got 2 vitality. We can exercise the body. I'm abrim with vitality. If I devote some time to exercise, I'll benefit. This will give us a 2nd health, which will make us a lot safer from things like illnesses and injuries. And we'll recover our other health here. In the meantime, we won't work for a little bit. Old unhappy far-off things. A half-glimpsed wistfulness has touched me. So we got some restlessness. Restlessness can be very useful, but at this point, it can also be bad and make us lose if we let it go unchecked for too long. So how do we get rid of restlessness? Right now, we can paint. I used to paint. I could paint those sights I half remember from my dreams. I might sell something. I probably won't. Yeah, we can feed our restlessness to our painting and get rid of it that way. Hi, Rayburst. Welcome in. Do you think we should study the bequest with our reason or our passion? Exercise the body. I've grown stronger. I've gained health, but it'll be more difficult to gain health next time. Now we have this skill, a stronger physique. We can work with that, and it will get us money a little bit more quickly and a little bit less chance of injury. I guess while we're not doing anything, I could study. Well, I don't want to study my reason. Trembling in the air. The sun flickers like a shadow. Dreams ripple behind the surface of mirrors. I must be careful not to drift from the waking world. With this, if I have too much fascination, it'll consume it and make me go insane. So, want to avoid getting fascination. Passion, huh? But we have 2 glimmerings. First, I'm going to study those. Feed my imagination. The tigers of wrath are wiser than the horses of instruction. If I spend some time studying what I've learned, I could increase my passion and gain a skill. So first we'll get another passion. I like to have 2 or 3 of the stats mostly before really moving on. Even 2 is probably fine. 1 can be a little scary sometimes. More times passing. There are more windows in my soul, but sunlight is not the only thing that passes through a window. I've gained passion, but it'll be a little more difficult next time. We have skill of vivid imagination. My daydreams sometimes outpace my dreams. Basically, I need twice as many vitalities or glimmerings each time to increase these again, and I have to spend more time to combine them into higher level versions. Oh yeah, skill. Yeah, we did some work, so we got a fund and a vitality. We'll just keep doing physical labor for now while we also study our bequest with passion. Examine my bequest employing passion. I'll read, theorize, pace, sketch, clutch at my hair in wonder, rise in elation, collapse in despair. That was quick. My correspondent describes my dreams exactly. They use names that are instantly familiar. The house, the wood, the hours, the glory. I sense here a power that generals and kings would envy. A new desire burns in me. There is a note here, directions to a bookshop that does not advertise its wares. So we have temptation power. It has occurred to me that I hold the key to power. This card will allow you to win a power victory if you upgrade it far enough. Dreaming about it might advance or change it. I'm just going to put that up there for now, out of the way. And we have a Smith's Secret. This is a piece of lore, a piece of Forge lore, specifically. Fire, I once read, is the winter that warms and the spring that consumes. The principle of the forge transforms and destroys. A Smith's Secret. In 5 continents, smiths have whispered the same words to the iron. Murderers have been known to whisper these words too, and adepts, of course. These words are spoken in ritual to inspire an unmerciful change. I'm going to put all of these over there, because there are going to be a lot more of those things. So we have notes on a possible collaborator, and direction to Moorlands. I'm going to start with the direction to Moorlands. The directions to Moorlands shop are cryptic. When one deals in the kind of books my correspondent studied, one must be circumspect. This rose thing here, trysts and interludes. If I have a particular friend, now is the time to renew our connection. Yes, if I have a significant other, then I'll be... That's when I would interact with them. But I don't know anybody at all, so... Okay. Still being pretty lucky with our work. We're not getting injured, which is good. It's not too serious getting injured as long as you have vitality, because then you can just heal up with that. Find Moorland Shop, an ill-lit street at an ill-favored bend in a lesser river. A soft yellow light through a grimy window. Miss Moorland nods as I enter, but doesn't rise. I never ask the names of my clients, she informs me, before I have time to introduce myself. Explore is unlocked. So now we have another verb. Explore. Now that I've found a location, I can explore it. Oh, and also, I got a little piece of, what is this, Secret Histories? Yeah, Secret Histories lore. History is the scar on the world's skin. Secret Histories describe the unknown complexities of the world and its many pasts. Secret Histories are layered beneath the one we know, like the notes in a rare wine. This is a detail from one of those histories. Exploring with this scrap of knowledge may uncover secret locations in the capital. Secret histories are a special kind of lore. You don't generally use them in rituals or anything like that, with a couple of exceptions. And that you can't transform other kinds of lore with them, but that you can explore them to unlock locations that you can do things with. That'll be later, though. I'm going to go ahead and buy a couple of books. I don't really have a great way of getting much funds quickly, but we can go ahead and buy some books. It takes time to sort the gold from the dross, the wheat from the chaff. the blood from the water. If I buy enough books, I'll find something interesting. And we'll go ahead and start pumping up our health. A little more. Getting 3 health also makes the work with health faster and more efficient. And it's the most consistent and reliable way I have of getting money right now without like putting myself in a job that I have to keep paying attention to. Like I can work with reason and get a clerical position, but then I have to keep doing that position, which can be inconvenient sometimes. It's also one of the ways you can win, is by getting promoted enough. The wrong kind of reputation might awaken the interest of the curious, the puritanical, or the vengeful. Yes, this is what might cause an adversary, generally a kind of like a detective who's snooping around for anything that any notoriety that I have. Unskilled labor, arms of bronze. Just need 1 more vitality, and then I can upgrade this again. Okay, so the book I got is a collection of essays, which isn't that great for right now. If the mind is a blade, this is a whetstone. I can study to gain an erudition lesson learned, which is basically like studying. You can study reason to get an erudition. You study it again to get another one. Then you can combine them. Hello, Silolone1. But anyway, it's a thing I really don't need right now. So. Oh. Actually, I'm going to get a free vitality, it looks like, in a moment here from this. Sometimes when you do things with specific aspects, like in this case, heart, you'll get a bonus, little bonus, or sometimes a little penalty, depending on how much you want or don't want the thing it gives you. Vitality never hurts, but when it decides to give you a restlessness, sometimes that can be inconvenient. The curious few, my name just now is clear. Any guardians remain in the shadows. Because I haven't done anything dubious yet. The Locksmith's Dream. Portions and Proportions. The 2nd volume of Teresa Gaumier's examination of parallels in the mystic dreams of artisans. The frontispiece has been slashed with a razor. Teresa. I think this is something I can get signed. But I'm going to study instead. I don't want to get my funds too low because I might need them sometimes, but I can still get a couple more books before that even really becomes an issue. Or we'll do one. We'll do one. Yeah, I'm gonna not use my... I guess I'll paint a bit. So my work is doing something. It's possible that I'll get something good out of some money out of it. And we got a collection of poetry. This is like the collection of essays, but it's for passion instead of reason. The poet makes himself a seer by immense, long, deliberate arrangement of all the senses, the opposite of wisdom, thankfully. Reality, a lesson learned. Study that, and then we'll have a pretty decent health skill for working. And a few extra health to deal with getting sick and stuff. See how lucky we get with our painting. Not very. My recent work has drawn some attention. Something should sell. Got 1 fund. That's not... I mean, it could be worse, but... We also got a bunch of mystique, which will attract the attention of the law if I still have it by then. And it takes 5 minutes to expire, so I probably will. Not making money, but gotta get that. Skill, a hardened physique. You might not know it to look at me, but I've grown strong as a smith or a soldier. Now we'll just keep working with health whenever we're not doing something else with work. And we'll read this volume of the Locksmith's Dream. In this volume, Galmier records fewer dreams and explicates more of her own elaborate theories. We see this again and again. What is below can't escape what is above. Oop, and here is sickness. I've become unwell. One of the reasons why we want to get our health up so much is because if we lose all our health and then get sick, we die. This sickness is going to turn our health into a affliction, which after a little while will decay into a decrepitude, which we can actually use for stuff, like we can go begging with it, and it has some useful aspects. But I don't really want to do that, so I'm going to use my vitality to heal. We can also spend funds to get medicine, but if we have vitality, oops, I should have used this one that was about to expire. Oh well. May as well use that. The finest artisans all dream of the white door in the end. I'm no artisan, only a scholar. I think there's a secret that all these artisans know, but I think that secret is only half the story. We have a locksmith's secret. Sooner or later, every locksmith has the dream. Now we recite its 7 phases. Nearly every summoning rite requires knock influence. This lore will provide it. Actually, I'm pretty sure every summoning rite requires the knock influence, but I don't know if there's one that's an exception. But yes, knock lore is kind of special, but it's more similar to the other lore than the Secret Histories is. The unique thing about knock lore is you can use any other lore to upgrade it. I guess since I have an erudition already, I'll study this reason and then upgrade my reason once. I'm gonna get a restlessness. Hunger burns in my heart, and I couldn't read that fast. The Forge of Days waits in my dreams. If I learn the Forge's lore and I dream of this temptation, I can advance my purpose. The need gnaws at me. Well, I'm not going to do that yet. I don't even have a cult. Get rid of this restlessness pretty suddenly here. Do some painting. Now, one thing we can do with Mystique, yeah, we're going to have a... because this makes it not go away as soon, but we can actually use it with our skill, with our passion skill, and potentially get more money. Restlessness, and let that go. Study our erudition to upgrade my reason. I have picked up odd facts here and there. If I spend time studying what I've learned, I could increase my reason. And we finished healing by sleeping with our vitality. Dreaming with our vitality, I guess. Oh, we still do not have anyone interested in us, so that's not bad. Oh, I don't care about that. Let's see. Chug, chug, chug. My recent work is considered significant. I may yet earn a living from this, but nothing is certain. I actually got 2 funds that time, which is pretty good considering that I don't really have that much to make it go. It's just very inconsistent. Sometimes you'll get nothing but trouble, because Mystique, having a ton of Mystique can make the adversaries stick around a really long time and cause some issues there. There's some reasons to not want to always have tons of Mystique. Oh, great, more restlessness. Well, whatever. Let's let's find a potential collaborator. I have a name, a description, a few tantalizing details, but there are 1,000 faces in this city. And while we're doing that, let's explore this. Let's search the city. Crowded through thoroughfares by day, a fog-wrapped labyrinth by night. I'll walk the streets seeking secrets until I can walk no more. A hireling. So I could hire a hulking fellow. Get the job done. So this is guy has edge aspect to it, which basically is the combat and murder aspect. So I could hire a thug. I'm not going to right now because I don't really have a use for one, and we'll just I probably should have got rid of this restlessness instead of what I just did, but oh well. Find a potential collaborator. And now I have an address. I'll dispatch a letter and propose a meeting. Talk is unlocked. So since I accidentally went to work more, this restlessness is going to turn into dread before I can get rid of it. But I can actually I can't study restlessness because to study, one must generally sit quite still. Restlessness is rarely the ally of scholarship. But I can keep restlessness in here for a little bit, and its timer won't go down. So I can just sit on that for a little bit, and then this will finish in time for me to paint with the restlessness again. The reply to your letter is courteous, if cautious. They're intrigued by how you found their name, intrigued enough to meet you. A hanger-on. So this is not a specifically important person. Usefully malleable, but they'll probably never amount to much. You might be able to recruit this acquaintance as a follower. There are also a lot of named people that we can meet, which we will start working on right now. Speak of esoteric matters. Talking publicly about the invisible arts will attract attention. Perhaps that's what I want. Let's paint. Passion, mystique. Go. And restlessness. Yep, we did not hire that person, so that's fine. Don't really have anything else to study, so I'm going to do that with my vitality. It'll keep it from disappearing as soon. If I upgrade it to a... Oop. Looks like I'm going to need my other vitality to heal that. I'm going to spend one more fund on a book and hope I get another kind of lore. So we have a couple of options for how we want to make our cult. Oh yeah, we got a couple more funds that way. Maybe I'll get yet another book after that. We got another glimmering. For now, maybe, I think I'm actually going to keep painting for a bit and try to get some more glimmerings so I can upgrade passion one more time, since it did give me some glimmerings here. Glimmering, glimmering. Feed my imagination. Alright, what did we get this time? Traveling at Night, Volume 1. The Annotated Dream Journals of Christopher Illopoli. Sometimes called the only readable occultist. Literate, entertaining, bewildering. We'll want to study that soonish. And buy another book. And let's get unafflicted. See what's happening next. We're going to get more restlessness, so I guess it's just as well that I was going to keep painting. Kitling Ripe and the Voldywarp's Grave and Other Stories. A lusciously illustrated tome of loosely connected children's stories by one N.K. Field. Few of them are remotely suitable for children. Go ahead and buy one more book, and then I'll want to save up some more funds. Oh, we can learn from each other. I found a patron, Poppy Lascelles, or something like that. An amiable woman of property. She'd like to talk to you. Her in particular, I don't want to talk to yet. Not until I've made a cult. One problem with painting a bunch is that you become overexposed and it becomes harder and harder to earn funds from painting. But for now, I'm more interested in getting glimmerings, and I didn't get any that time. Well, plus I have this, I'm about to get some restlessness, but not for a little bit. Oh, right, I'm dreaming to heal that up. I would really like to try and get some more glimmerings, though. So I'm just going to keep painting till it gives me some more. Feed my imagination. Glimmerings, a lesson learned. And we got another collection of essays. Well. There's only a few of those collection essays things in the shop, I think, so just getting kind of unlucky getting them at the beginning. But we have these other things we can read. Read this volume of Traveling at Night. The wood lies outside the walls of the Manzas. As any student of the histories knows, the Manzas has no walls. Oh, does that one have glimmering from it? Yeah, I'll probably do that. And, I mean, I'm going to study it in a moment anyway, so. And so, Emifir, or Emifir? Imagine you've played this some before then. If you even know specifically what some of the books have. But anyway, welcome to the stream. There's a glimmering, and you want to get rid of this restlessness anyway. Let's get rid of that. I want to get a few pieces of lore so that I can ask the chat which one they would like me to base my cult on. There's some mock lore. A barber's warning. A power of the wood enjoys the separation of the lock from the scalp. For attention, burn it. For opportunity, bury it. Speak this over a corpse in a rite with a winter influence present, and the corpse will rise. Go ahead and get some more people. Since I'm having a bunch of mystique anyway. Alright, where we got for glimmerings? We got a couple. Which one's gonna... I think that one's expiring for... Those two are expiring at the same time. So we'll take those. Yeah, with that we'll be able to upgrade our passion again, and then we'll be good for quite a while, passion-wise. So I'll go back to doing manual labor. Looks like we're gonna have another acquaintance here. And we finally got an adversary. There's always someone who doesn't understand, or who understands too well. This troublemaker may seek evidence on my activities to share with the authorities. So we have a weary detective. This gentleman would much rather be left alone with his pipe and his illustrated London news, but no. Apparently, some conjurer of abominations has to be hunted down like a mad dog, and apparently, no one else can find the time. I'll just put him over here. His actual card doesn't really matter to me that much. There are more oh right, we did this already. So let's upgrade our passion. He who desires but acts not breeds pestilence. And we'll keep... Actually, I have an extra fund or so. Let's buy another book. Let's buy a book. Let's buy a book. What did we get? On the White. Solomon Husher writes, perhaps allegorically, of winter and its long, slow, doomed romance with the sun. The epigraph is sunset at noon. Yeah, we got some stuff to read once my study verb is free. Select all. Work on health. Come with me. So, we met Elridge, an elegant man of inelegant habits. And we got a named acquaintance. Let's keep talking for a little bit. At least until we finish reading our other book here. Other two books. We'll read on. On closer investigation, the work seems to be a theory of aesthetics, or perhaps a set of warnings about the dangers of painting. One doesn't usually think of painting being dangerous, but I guess it's time to paint a little more. I still don't have a cult to actually use my restlessness with. Any more Mystique? Sure. Let's throw this in here. Ditching all of that. Looks like I'll be meeting another acquaintance. Usher writes distractedly of his hatred of colors and his yearning for death. He hints at a great work he has envisaged, or begun, where the palest of paintings will enthrall the world. He returns again and again to certain compelling phrases which he claims are the secret words of winter. And we got Sexton's secret lore. Close you. There. Get which order these go in. I'll rearrange these once I have more of them. Certain knowledge, it is said, can be expressed only through the particular quality of the silence. It has been suggested that one can only read such knowledge with one's eyes closed, but only by mischievous commentators. Righty. One more book to read, and then we'll probably decide which one we want to use. The protagonist, a speechless cat thing called Kitling Ripe, performs a series of elaborate rites to rescue members of her extended family, culminating in the resurrection of her other grandmother, Moldywarp. That is a children's story. Apparently. Actually, I could also do some exploring while we're doing this other stuff here. And I have a bunch of glimmerings again. Well, let's see. I'm gonna have 4 glimmerings already, so maybe I'll just keep painting again for a little bit. What did we get? Oh, we found the Ecdysis. I've never known how to pronounce this one. Ecdysis. I'm just gonna say Ecdysis, Ecdysis. I don't know. Whatever it is, the club. A cabaret with an occult reputation. I probably won't use that much. We got another hanger-on, another not particularly important person. Explore some more. When the snake witch killed the stag, Kitling snatched one of its eyes. When the dry witch killed the sow, Kitling stole a cup of its blood. Then she took them to the place Moldywarp lay buried, and she shook out her hair, and she began to dance. Yeah, so many glimmerings. And we got a second level of moth lore. Wood Whisper. Lie awake and listen. The wind speaks in the branches. The house cries out in its sleep. These are the roads that chaos ride. Yeah, let's before I start combining these glimmerings, do I have enough time? Well, I'll combine 2 of these first. Go ahead and start. Like, I've got so many glimmerings already, I may as well work on getting another possible hiring. A shifty woman. I get the job done. So she is a moth lore. Or moth aspect, rather. Gonna ignore her. Don't really care about that. Looks like I got more glimmerings, so yeah, I only need one more glimmering to upgrade my passion, so I could also read this collection of poetry to effectively get 2 glimmerings, but I usually save those for when I'm trying to do the final upgrade of a particular stat, so I won't be doing that until much later. Probably not until yeah, much later anyway. Let's see, this one's 140, these 2. Also, let's keep chatting. Since I have so many health and since I have so many passion, I can keep recruiting people with passion while also doing a little bit of art. Okay, yeah. We got plenty of glimmerings now. So I'll go back to manual labor. So I'm out of vitality in this way. If I get an affliction, it'll take care of that. And we found Oriflamme's auction house, and I should have read that box, but I forgot. Oriflamme specializes in curios, perfumes, taxidermy specimens, and rare texts. It operates from cramped new premises now since the destruction of the old by an unexplained fire. So you can buy and sell stuff at Oriflamme's. So, you know, books and other stuff you don't need, you can sell at Oriflamme's to get funds, which is useful. And they have a lot of books there and one movie that's actually kind of important. Downside to buying things at Oriflamme's is you don't know how much things are going to cost. You just have to keep feeding it gold until it decides that you've won the auction. And you also don't know what you're getting. So sometimes you can spend 4 funds and get one of these like collection of poetries. But if you miss something, then you've just completely missed it forever. And there are some things in there that are really good to get. I actually have a bunch of funds now, so let's buy some more books from the bookshop. The bookshop. Glimmering a lesson learned. Last 2 glimmerings here. Looks like we found a patron. Also, the weary detective is the perils of renown. My mystique has attracted this hunter's attention. They can prove nothing yet, but they'll keep looking for longer now. And he's going to burn through all my mystique eventually here. And I got another collection of poetry. Well, that'll make it easy later to upgrade my passion final time. But I need another... I think I'm at the final upgrade also needs a certain amount of some different lore, depending on exactly how you want to upgrade your passion. Because you actually get some different options. Wow, I have no available health. Right now, my health is tired. I guess I could sleep. Well, it's too late. Doesn't matter now. Buy more books. We'll do something different here in a little bit. Pretty suddenly, I'm gonna start my cult. Use the vitality we got to cure our affliction. Dr. Ibn al-Din. Dr. Ibn al-Din, called the Alepin, has an interest in overlooked history. He could use your assistance. Let's go ahead and talk to him just to see what he wants us to do. The doctor would like my help with his research. He can also teach us Aramaic, if we have a particular thing for that he would accept in payment. I found something noteworthy. The War of the Rhodes, 1450 to 1580, censored edition. Willis Ford describes the War of the Rhodes, an event in the history other than our own, in detail, but numerous pages have been removed. The name of the publisher is blacked out, and an ominous slip stapled to the cover explains that Willis Ford has been excised. And we have a glimmering, so we can finally... Boop, boop, boop. Sooner murder an infant in its cradle than nurse unacted desires. So we're going to upgrade our skill, A Wild Imagination, to something even more potent. Then we'll read this book. I'm going to go ahead and spend one more fun. I don't really like to spend it down below 5, but here's what he needs. He needs a... He's commissioned... He'd like me to provide him a substantial discussion of the severe mysteries of the Lantern, so I'll need level 4 Lantern lore to complete that, and I definitely don't have that now. So we'll let that sit for a while. That again. Keep on working. I will work with speed and in silence. I don't fear injury. Move this mystique out of the way. It's going to go away shortly anyway. Alright, we found the 6 letters on necessity, warnings and confessions about the cost of the invisible arts, addressed to a student by the 17th century magus and reputed immortal Julian Kozoli. I don't know how to pronounce anything in this game. We'll read these two as soon as our study is available. Getting some restlessness, so I guess I'll be painting. In case I'll use my health to go explore. Skill, a fevered imagination. In another time, I would have been a seer or a heretic. This. Oh, another hireling. This one is a bomb maker. Ooh. He's actually a pretty strong guy you could hire. He's got 5 forge aspect and 3 edge aspect. That's a pretty strong guy. I just don't have any use for him yet. I mean, I suppose I could use him to try and kill the detective, but a weary detective is not that bad of an enemy to have. And someone worse might show up if I did that. Alright, let's paint away our restlessness here. Go. And looks like we're going to get another acquaintance. Oh, study. I can study one of these books. Let's read The War on the Roads first, because I got it first. In this past, a score or more of longs were made. They brokered peace with the Forge of Days, long enough to set England on a path of early conquest and eventual destruction. The Forge itself devoured the greatest among them. This is Bleak Thoughts. This one collects dread. If I let that restlessness decay, it turns into dread. If this thing collects 3 dread, then I guess I despair, which is another insanity ending. Guess I'll go ahead and nap my health and explore again. Alright, we got our... You can counteract dreads with contentments, which you usually get, mostly get by painting, but it's not super consistent necessarily anyway. There's a couple other ways you can get it. But we'll just go back to work. Get ready to read the 6 letters on necessity. Ooh, we met Auclair. Claire has a scholarly aspect and a morbid streak. You might be able to recruit this acquaintance as a follower. The royalty of England, according to Willis Ford, became the sovereigns of the least blame, destroying or transforming their enemies, conquering Europe, establishing grand cathedrals to St. Spark. The alliance with the Forge begins to take its toll. The last few chapters are missing entirely. So we now have a furtive truth, which is a more potent secret histories lore, which mostly just means it leads to different locations. This one uncovers secrets in the Shire. Now let's read the 6 letters on necessity. Cosley's tone is urgent, as if he suspected he might have little time. And we got more restlessness, so we'll have to paint that. Go ahead and get rid of a bunch of our mystique this way. This hiding the mystique in my painting will force the detective to take this mystique, which is going to have a lot longer to expire. Although I'm probably going to get more mystique from the painting anyway, but the 2 that I put in there will expire just a few seconds after the painting finishes. If he doesn't take them by then. Which he shouldn't. Okay, we'll just keep recruiting people while I find another book. Even the Soon can be divided, though it required the Forge of Days for its division. Now we got another Smith's secret. We can actually combine these 2 to upgrade it to a stronger Smith's secret. We would need a erudition for that, or a cult with an HQ with a library. But actually, I have an erudition. Maybe I'll just do that now because I do already have an erudition handy, which should last. Very few know that smiths and murderers speak the same prayers. I will examine those prayers. And more restlessness. Oh hey, we got a Gildersleeve's Latin grammar. We can study that to learn Latin, which is useful. Some books will be written in other languages, and we need to know the language to decode them. Translate them, and then actually read them. But use one more fun. Alright, what do we get? I think we got probably 1 fund out of that. And let's get back to physical labor. Oh wait, except I just got this restlessness. I keep doing that. Forgetting, like I knew I had that coming. I'll still have plenty of time to paint though, before it does anything bad. The Victory of Crowns. Erratic accounts by one Arun of the hunting and consumption of supposed immortals by shadowy cults of assassins, published in the late 19th century. You want to read that? Buy 1 more book. And here's our challenge knowledge to finish our Forge lore there. Rid of our restlessness. Rid of our... Although I suppose I could just... Well, eh. I mean, I do have a contentment. I could get rid of it. I'll just keep doing physical labor, and I'll get rid of that restlessness when it decays to dread with my contentment. And we got an introduction to histories, which is probably just a low-level secret histories lore book. Read with contentment. I remember that I was different before. Clear my mind. There it is. Is that it? You have resolved the knowledge challenge. And Rose, an acquaintance. Rose is a sly miss, and she recognizes you as someone uncommon. Another person I can recruit, as soon as I have a cult. Now I'm having a few different kinds of lore, so let's go ahead and recruit someone else. Select. Do. Oop. My health is fatigued, I guess. Done getting rid of our dread. I've increased my mastery of the lore that burns, which we call by its aspect, forge, an ardent orison. When we watch a fire, what are we watching for? When we find it, these are the words it will speak, a word that sanctifies the change that comes when the seared skin peels. And let's read the Victory of Crowns. The assassins are, according to Arun, the agents of a power called the Colonel, a soldier of the secret masters. The accounts go all the way back to Roman times. We'll read that. That's got to be some edge lore. And we'll just keep working, keep chatting, till we have at least most of the kinds of lore to pick from. Arun's scholarship is dubious, but she writes pithily. Incidents of sudden and violent death are interspersed with aphorisms. Ours don't dream. Long try not to. A nice secret. Really like to have at least one more kind of lore, but I don't know, we could pick from these. So, Ray Burst, Celalona 1, and the other were my regular viewers, and MFR. At this point, now is probably a good time to decide what cult we want to have. I don't have any particularly strong preference. Most of them have some advantages or disadvantages. Right now we have Forge, Moth, Winter, Edge, Knock, and Secret Histories. Any of these we can form a cult based around. Once we've done this, we can't change it. The cult won't. There's no way to rededicate your cult to a different lore as far as I know. But what sounds interesting to anybody? And we got another hanger-on. In the meantime, I'm gonna buy one more book, but I definitely don't want to spend any more of my funds than that. Doors of the Palace of Memory are opened, and I now know Latin. I'm gonna start working on my vitality since I've got a bunch. What did we get? The Locksmith's Dream, A Light Through the Keyhole. The first volume of Teresa Galmier's examination of parallels in the mystic dreams of artisans. I might actually don't know what lore that would be. Lantern, probably? My guess would be Lantern, which is another lore. Don't know if it'd be high enough level, probably not, to What are the choices again? Sure. So if we, wait a moment, I might be able to add Lantern to that. But we have Forge lore, which, Forge, Fire, I once read, is the winter that warms and the spring that consumes. The principle of the forge transforms and destroys. We have moth lore. I knew a man who captured moths in a bell jar. On nights like this, he would release them one by one to die in the candle. Moth is the wild and perilous principle of chaos and yearning. Winter is the principle of silence, of endings, and of those things that are not quite dead. Edge. All conquest occurs at the edge. One who dwells there is blind and cannot be wounded. Another is strong and grows stronger. Edge is the principle of battle and struggle. And just murder, I think. Knock. The knock permits no seal and no isolation. It thrusts us gleefully out of the safety of ignorance. The knock is the principle that opens doors and unseams barriers. And finally, secret histories. History is the scar on the world's skin. Secret histories describe the unknown complexities of the world and its many pasts. And we wait another... I guess I could have had this running while I was reading those, but... I'll go ahead and read this volume of The Locksmith's Dream. And that'll probably give us Lantern, I think. It seems lantern-y to me. Unless it's Knock, but I don't know. Oh, with Rhaenyra, an acquaintance. Rhaenyra has been found not guilty 3 times in 3 separate jurisdictions. She will likely never be found guilty of anything. Keep talking. Right, a watchman's secret. This is lantern lore. Time and again we hear of the wood which rises from the world's foundation. All trees reach for light. What does the wood reach for? Is there a difference between light and light? I think the key to dreams of the wood might be one of these, the one that isn't exactly real. It has been expressed like this. Each hour has its color, but color exists only where there is light. The lantern lore. Life is a pure flame, and we live by an invisible sun within us. Thomas Brown. Lantern is the principle of the secret place, sometimes called the house of the sun, and of the light above it. We got some erudition that I'm probably not going to use for anything any time before it expires. Let's study some. Alright, I just need to, I think I just need my talk verb to get free. Probably hard to make a cult if you don't talk to anybody about it. Restlessness income in here, so I'll eat that away. Oop. Alright, let's do... Oh, looks like we're going to get another acquaintance. Come on. More vitality. You get all this vitality just from working. Get missing heart and grail. That sounds right. Those are both good cults too. More restlessness. Okay, fine. I'm a low on passion. Oh well. This won't be the best painting. Alright, now let's look at starting... Let's talk to Elridge. A new beginning? Together we might be more. Found a mystical organization. Here is someone I might work with. a companion, or a follower. But first, I must give them something to follow. A society, a sodality, an order, a cult. I have begun my true work. The authorities will take an interest in it. I must be ready for them. You have begun to establish your cult. It will need a little more before you can recruit followers. I forgot that it just gives you notoriety when you do that. So notoriety is what the detectives and such are really looking for. When they're active, they'll take this and try and turn it into evidence. And if they or upgrade evidence if it's already there. And that can lead to me going to jail. There are some ways of getting rid of notoriety, but ideally we can just let it expire. We can also hide it by painting, but we have to time things correctly. And if there's too much mystique, then that won't work out very well. Choose founding principles, tradition and compulsion, old, new, or both together. Add lore to determine your cult's founding principles. Establish the Society of the Holy Wound, an occult society dedicated to the hours which open doors. While I'm at it, let's upgrade our health one more time. Since we... Oh wait, I don't have all the... Oh, I do. There it is. I thought I had 3 of these. I will grow stronger yet. Looks like I'm gonna get sick, too. Gonna be incomeless for a little bit. The hour we will serve requires pain. I must give of myself. Okay, here you go. Give it my health. An affliction. Let's heal this. Since I want to lose all my health. Exercise the body, stronger yet. Skill, a steely physique. I could carry a man across a river now, or strangle him. Yes, now I can, I think, just go murder people with my health. Potentially. A cult with one member is only an unusual habit. I must have a recruit. Recruit Elridge. Injury. Yeah, let's do some physical labor so that I can get another... So now it only takes 45 seconds for me to work with physical labor. Work with health. Our rise begins. I have founded my cult. This is a step to greater power. Use your cult to recruit and promote followers. Talk with followers about your cult and send them out on cult business. Temporary headquarters in the Society of the Holy Wound. So we can get different headquarters that have different benefits. A lot of them are useful for doing, for helping to upgrade lore, but some of them have other effects. I guess I haven't experimented with them too much. In the past, I don't think. So, Society of the Holy Wound, an occult society dedicated to the hours which open doors. We can use cults with the talk verb to recruit or promote followers, send them out on errands to gather resources. A believer can be promoted to a disciple, and disciples who are knock aspected mainly can be exalted to to keys, which are very strong in knock. But let's see. Elridge has almost learnt not to pick his teeth with his knife in conversation. He has not yet learnt to leave his knife in his boot. Elridge is edge aspected. I'm actually not gonna do a bunch of recruiting to my cult. Mostly use restlessnesses probably to do that for a bit. Someone's gonna come and try to get my variety. So yeah, I'm going to avoid doing anything that will generate mystique for a little bit. Let's read this book. The prologue warns at length of the iniquities of one Julian Cosley, a former colleague who her salt now describes darkly as a worm of the worms. A worm of worms. It seems Cosley advised her salt early in the writing of the book, but her salt later became suspicious. So I got an injury from sacrificing my health to this cult. I need rest and nourishment if I am to recover, but the Mother of Ants looks kindly on wounds. So yeah, I can heal this. So this actually has, so injuries actually have knock aspect to them, which can be useful for doing things like, well, a few things, but for now I'm just gonna heal this instead of letting it turn into a decrepitude. I just need my dream verb and a vitality. Now, this detective is going to be looking for my notoriety and mystique. And since I stupidly went to work with my physique, I'm not going to be able to hide my stuff in there, so it's probably going to take my mystique and then the notoriety, and since we got another occult scrap there. Oh, I could have read that. Oh well. Yeah, he took my notoriety. He might not succeed with it. Might just do nothing. Or I might get some tentative evidence, and then I just probably need to let it expire. I don't really have my cult is not... I don't have the right people up at a high enough intensity of aspect to deal with that directly, so... I don't really have any way of summoning anything that can deal with it yet either, so... Oop. Considering the evidence. If a hunter has found notoriety, they will try to use it to create or upgrade evidence. If they're meticulous, they'll always succeed. If they're erratic, they're more likely to fail, but they can occasionally create evidence even without notoriety. Yeah, that sounds terrible to me. It's like you have little control and... Let's see, so in the meantime, I don't have enough funds to work on... I guess in the meantime, I don't really care about creating Mystique now. If anything, more Mystique is good, because if another detective shows up, they'll have to churn through all my Mystique, and that'll give my evidence a chance to expire, which takes 10 minutes. But a hunter has found evidence, real or imagined, of my sins. Hunters with evidence of occult activities become more dangerous. Evidence may survive the death of the hunter who created it. So yeah, we've got evidence there. I'm going to put it up right in the middle prominently so I don't forget that it's there. Let's see, do I have anything I can study? Not particularly. To upgrade... Yeah, I can't upgrade my passion. I guess I could work on upgrading my reason. Build up some funds and stuff. I could also explore some more. Read whatever is to hand. The world is awash with printed words. Even the newspapers contain knowledge sometimes. And we'll go look around the city. Streets strange by movement. That's not useful. I don't think. Not very useful most of the time. Hey, we can get another patron though. That's potentially useful. The words contain knowledge, now I contain it. It is a little like theft, and a little like feasting, and a little like the progress of an infectious disease. the lock cult, the street strange by moonlight are useful? I guess I don't know. I don't remember all the things you can get with straight strange by moonlight at all, except for fascination. Or if there's something you can do with cult business with Street Strange by Moonlight and Knock, I don't remember. And I don't, or probably not that I don't remember, it's probably that I never discovered something about that. A patron. Oh, Sulashana. So she can teach us Sanskrit. And we can just talk to her about stuff. She's, I think, more important than some of the other DLCs. Oh, generate level 6 lock influences. Or knock influences. That's yeah, that could be useful for a knock cult. It is knock, right? Or is it lock? Yeah, knock. We'll just get up our funds back up to 5 and then buy another book. Actually haven't given me a restlessness in a little while. May not be much else of use unless I want to hire somebody that I can get by exploring the... just with health. Oh, let's maybe try it again anyway. Take a nap. The Apostle Legacies, those are the like post-win ones, right? I think I vaguely remember that. I've done 1 or 2 of those, I think. A long time ago. Ooh, I'm a lot of times I just use her to hold something in the talk verb, because talking to her about anything is generally not harmful to you. Yeah, I have the dancer change ones. I've done that on the Android version. Windows version, I don't have any DLC. I think that was was that just a patch or a DLC? I forget. I think it was. I don't remember. I don't remember what all the DLCs are except for the Edge, the last one. I remember the Priest and Ghoul. Yeah, I guess I can't remember if Dancer was DLC or if Dancer was just an update. So I'll buy a book. So long for evidence to go away on its own. Anyway, oh, we got Dartside Sanskrit Reader. So we can learn Sanskrit at some point when it's convenient. Ah, Saliba. Saliba is a man of prodigious appetites. He is long past the point where their satisfaction has given them any pleasure, but he has learnt so very much. Another person we could recruit. Still have more people we can recruit, a lot more, and a couple more patrons we can meet too, so... Yeah, that's what I thought. I know the Apostle victories were part of the basic game, although I think they were added in an update. Anyway, we're just churning right along here. Let's do something a little different, just because we haven't done anything a little different in a while. Let's visit the moonlit road. I know this dream. A road crests a hilltop, and the air is silver bright. What do we want? Lantern? I think, does knock also work? Yeah, let's use knock since we're going knock anyway. The locksmiths often have the dream after the sole of the foot is wounded, especially if it has been snake bitten. I could try that. A dream focused on our knock lore. And we're gonna get sick. Cause that just happens sometimes. Yeah, I haven't had a restlessness in forever. Not that I actually need one, but I don't think. Let's keep reading. Read, read, read. Keep reading, keep working, keep dreaming, all at the same time. The Serpent's Way. I limp along the road, and so it is that I see the serpent in the ditch. I follow it across the waste places into the root maze. Is it hair that brushes my face, or hanging moss? I bend low to stay close to the earth, like my guide. I will not forget the way to this place. Now we have Way, the wood. Put all my ways up here. I've learnt the path to the wood, the tangled darkness that grows around the walls of the mansis, though the mansis has no walls. I can dream with this to return to the wood. Let's go visit the wood. I think I just need passion? Yeah. Now I pass between scar-barked trees. The moon passes behind branches, though her fingers remain in my hair. I am stumbling over roots now. It is tempting to drop to all fours, to avoid the low branches. Pale wings move deep in the night. This buzzing in the brain, I think, is going to turn into fascination or dread. I forget. One of those, I think. I was thinking dread initially, but now it seems like it should be fascination, so I don't know. Hope Clifton. A bellowing and unorthodox Catholic with a mystic streak and an untrimmed beard. Doesn't matter because I'm going to get rid of it right now. We'll use it in our ceremony to recruit. I don't know. Saliba, sure. Recruit an acquaintance by invoking knock. Get this random image thing here. Sometimes stuff like that appears when you do different things. Keep working, keep working. And let's buy another book. Have an affliction that we need to heal up. And we can study our erudition more. So it might be better to just study my reason first and then some of those eruditions. This one is ready. Only a little wound, just enough to give homage to the powers that open. Saliba a believer. Saliba understands blood. He does not yet understand birth. So he is Grail aspected. Let's see. I just want to make sure that that erudition, that lesson learned erudition doesn't expire too quickly. So I'll have Sulashana talk to her about it for a minute. Alright, so we've made it to the wood. From the wood, we can also visit the well and the Temple of the Wheel, but we don't know what's there until we go there. So I'll actually take this occult script, because I don't have too many of those yet. I walked in the wood last night, and the scissors worked in the distance, and the furred things crammed my mouth and swarmed my ears, and I felt the old urge to drop to wolf fours and nose among the roots. But I remembered that I walk upright by day, and I know fire and steel and words, and at last I found where the velvet had concealed a secret on tree bark beneath moss. I read it then with the tips of my fingers, and I think now that I could write it in full. Now let's go not be sick. On what is contained by silver, a bestiary by Pomander in Greek. I don't know Greek yet. So that book's gonna have to wait. Collect all that. Keep working. Erudition. Erudition. Wait, I don't want to use my fresh erudition, I want to use my old erudition. That leaves us with... Finish that in... There'll be 100 seconds left. We need to study reason one more time. Yeah, I'm going to talk to her about this erudition lesson learned again. Just to stop its timer for what? We'll search the city, because it's not like I'm going to be going to the bookstore for a little bit yet. Streets strange by movement. Let's just, for the heck of it, explore one of these. Streets are strange in the hour called Meniscus. I don't know how to pronounce that either. Oh, there's our restlessness that we hadn't seen in quite a while. I have a fleeting reminiscence anyway that I think I can use to get rid of fascination. We need one more erudition. Unless I've miscounted my reason. Maybe I've gone way overkill on that. Maybe I only had a... Maybe I only needed two. Oh well. We'll see. Restlessness. Right, I was going to get rid of that. Well, let's use our restlessness in our ceremony to recruit Auclair. With some knock. Our evidence is finally about to expire. Visions pass me with Pavan grace, a window over a wood, a garden of ice, a shivering sun, a woman of glass. I will return home with reluctance. I guess I still have streets strange by moonlight. I can keep exploring it. Do-do-do. Keep on going. And Auclair is now a believer. Auclair is quiet, meticulous, and remorseless. Alright, the detective is appearing, but he's gonna... but he's gonna not find anything because my evidence is gonna expire before his current timer does. So then we can finally not worry about that so much. Let's talk to Poppy. My dear, I've been wanting to talk to you. Sometimes I fund scholars of the invisible arts. I'd like to offer you my support, a substantial contribution. And all you need to do someday is to introduce me to someone else who will end matters properly. She smiles benignly, and passion to accept or reason to interrogate her further. Let's just accept. Yes, that's exactly right. I'll come back tonight. In the meantime, I'll need to, I want to recruit one of these guys. That's fine. Right, I got more. Let me just make sure I need all of this. Oh yeah, I don't need quite all this erudition that I've been getting. Anyway, we'll upgrade our reason once here. And we'll work some more. We'll visit the wood because why not? Ooh. Alright, now we have a 5-minute timer for in the season of rags, Poppy will return. Accept Poppy's offer. A tiny packet of tiny treasures, a gift from Poppy. She'll see me again in the season of rags for me to make the introduction I promised. So 10 funds and a silver spintria. These initiates of the hidden world can use spintriae to pay for services. They can easily be sold for more traditional funds. Silver spintriae are more valuable and usually display scenes of debauchery on the reverse side. See, I can sell this in the auction house for more funds. I could also trade it to learn a language, but I don't think I know anybody who has a language that I can't just learn by studying the. I guess I don't have an Aramaic book. I do have a Sanskrit book, so I wouldn't need to do that with a Sulashana. I could also use a lower quality Spintria. I think there are other things that you can use these for, but I wouldn't need them for much later. At least all the things that I know of. Unless I wanted to do something with Braille aspect, but even then, I don't have anything to use this with, so I'm probably just gonna sell this now. We perch on alarming Rietveld chairs in a windowless auction room with vividly burnt orange walls, waiting for the announcer to announce what he's offering. The reek of new paint makes the brain spin. Few of the customer at Oriflamme's are students of the invisible arts. They'll buy tools of power as trophies or curiosities, without any idea of their true value. But this will get their attention. Come on, give me some restlessness. Alright, I have reordered the boundaries of my ignorance. Alright, restlessness. Let's recruit one of these hanger-ons. Throw that out. Now we will have a lot of... Yeah, mostly just sell silver, I think, unless you really need to repair a watchman's glass or something. One of those that can only be repaired with silver. But, you know, that's something to do way at the end. Or if you have a Grail cult, then probably they could help you to promote some people earlier. The auctioneer's gavel bangs, my item is sold. Sometimes you can get a bonus and people just get caught up in bidding and you'll get an extra like 50%. Would have been nice to have 12 funds instead of 8, but this will buy me probably all of the rest of the books in Moorlands and then some. So let's buy some books. Oh, and we can learn Sanskrit. Buy some books and learn Sanskrit. The name has been translated as the refined language. Alright, well, now we have a pawn. This one is loyal but lacks initiative. This one will not be with us for very long. Sorry, guy. But that's just how things go when you're in a cult, I guess. Let's see, do I want to talk to anything, or anybody else, or do I just want to recruit more people? I think I just want to recruit more people for now. Or meet more people and then recruit them when it's convenient. So, peculiar rumor, or we can visit the well or the temple of the wheel. I don't specifically remember much of anything for what things are available from where. So I'm just gonna make a couple notes. Seem to vaguely think the well is safer than the wheel, but might not be. Oh, the wheel has a subtle flaw. So that down there, where the temple of the wheel was, is a knock influence. What is this? Awareness of appetite is a grail influence. You can use influences with some rituals and when trying to promote or recruit people in your cult. So they are useful for those things. The well in the wood is never dry, but it is never clear. One night it might heave with crawling roots, on another it will pulse with bright moss. On nights of the full moon its waters are choked with the fat dappled bodies of moths. Last night I saw it brimming with dark and viscous blood. Gelatinous shreds drifted on the surface, clots of grail matter. Wood had a peculiar lunar history's lore. The Dreaming of the Ways is the main way you get secret histories, lore, as well as influences. I think this is a safe influence. I don't think it decays into anything terrible. Some influences like to decay into things that you don't really want hanging around very much, like dread and fascination, usually. Occasionally those things are mildly... Yeah, I mean, it's just... Yeah, probably... Unless if both of them have secret histories lore, then it probably doesn't matter too much. So I was thinking one of them had fascination, maybe, but it's not like that would be hard to get rid of right now, anyway. We got The Queens of the Rivers. A surreal contemporary play by the enigmatic Monica Medina, in which the Queens of the Rivers are murdered one by one. And we had lots of fun, so let's buy all the books. Buy. Detective found nothing, and somehow he lost his evidence from before, so... And now we know Sanskrit. We don't have anything Sanskrit to read yet, but... Where do I want to put these? I guess I'll put them down there. Probably make more sense to put them up here, actually, with my book, where been keeping my books, but it's kind of crowded there, so I don't really like to do that. I'll just throw them down there. What else do we get? Traveling at Night, Volume 2. The Annotated Dream Journals of Christopher Illopoli, sometimes called the only readable occultist. Literate, entertaining, bewildering. This is the second volume. I think we read this first volume already. Go ahead and read that. Where'd it go? There it is. I thought I just saw a knock influence on wheel, didn't I? Is that not what that one was? As I picked well, but I thought I saw the under wheel a purple influence show up. There is an extensive discussion of the similarities between Illopoli's own dreams and those of Emperor Elagabalus, who Illopoli regards as a dupe or avatar of the sun in rags. The white is west of the world, Illopoli remarks, and winter does not wait forever. That's going to be some stronger winter lore. Oop, let's buy more books. Keep buying books so I can read them on the stream. And we're going to meet somebody. Suddenly my tableau here is a little cleaner. Things are disappearing. I know they can't because they're timers, but it'd be nice if the... Ooh, Greek! I can use Greek. Koner and Girth. Kuner? No, he's Kuner. I've got some dust on my monitor, which makes the U with the umlaut look like an O. Ausführlich Grammatik der... I don't speak German at all. German grammar to speak Greek. A Greek grammar. An essential weapon for a ferocious struggle with a challenging language. All right. We'll want to study that so we can study other things. All right, let's now I really want to know what all is on the wheel, so let's hammer the wood a little bit too. Oh, Elagabalus found his way to the white door at last, thankfully. Speech can't pass the white door, and honestly, Elagabalus had never had anything very interesting to say. I tried to follow in his footsteps, but I never learnt enough of the white. I suppose I'm thankful for that too, but here's what I do know. The Sexton's Secret. So that with probably Glimmering? Oh, I don't need erudition for that too. I could upgrade to a 4th intensity winter lore. Go ahead and improve our Greek here. Wrapped in the King. I think this is Grail. Detached accounts by James Colin Murphy of secret bacchanals and ecstatic dances observed in necropolises and graveyards in southern Europe, in Egypt, and in Anatolia. The author is a self-confessed ghoul, an eater of buried flesh. He claims to have witnessed the dances while at his feasting. That'll get us another lore that we don't have. Enya. Victor, an acquaintance. Victor is a sly fellow, and he knows an unusual opportunity when he sees it. You might be able to recruit this acquaintance as a follower. What do we got here? More work to do. Oh, let's buy more books. Been slacking on my book buying here. Heading into the wood. Yeah, we could get a buzzing in the brain. We don't really want that for anything, so let's look at the Temple of the Wheel. So, vitality from the well. Vitality. So that, trembling areas, that's a heart influence, I'm pretty sure. The toes tap. All is brisk and all is well. Deflect. Head back in there. Oops. The Orchid Transfigurations, Volume 1. Yeah, it's also Grail, isn't it? A 16th century alchemical fever dream, attributed to Robert Flood, frequently banned for the disturbing allure of its illustrations. This is the original Latin. I guess one of these might be... don't remember. That's in Latin, so I'll have to use my Latin knowledge to decode that. A determined and distinctive tongue, but I have the measure of it. We now know Greek. What can we read here? I guess we don't need anything particular to study the queens of the rivers. The queen of the Vistula is poisoned. The queen of the chokes on a fishhook. The queen of the Tagus is burnt alive. That does not sound fun to be queen, I guess. He's not a queen of the rivers. Doop-a-doo, we have our vitality. Meet another person. Our poppy timer is going to be up pretty soon. The Humors of a Gentleman. Samuel Savage's satirical comedy on the intrigues of the ailing but cunning John Soane, his mistress Maybelline, her lover Leo, and the upstart Corvino. I don't know what's in that book. I guess we'll find out. I don't know. Buzzing in the brain again. Let's see. I didn't note down before that has moth influence as a possibility, but I've seen it twice now. Subtle flaw in awareness of appetite. So yeah, subtle flaw, that is knock aspect. Only 2 knock aspect, and 2 knock aspect isn't really good for too much, but... Laces uncoil. Windows swing open. Locks move as oiled. I guess you could use it in summoning. A bunch of things only need 2 knock aspect. And if I had a... And of course, it could bump you up to have enough to promote someone to a disciple if you were close, but not quite. Since most of the other cults, you can just use a restlessness to get 2 influence, but knock isn't provided by restlessness. I'll stream this one more time just to see if it offers anything else. Also, we haven't got any Secret Histories 4 from it yet. The culprit, it transpires, is the audience. The surviving queens are directed to execute whatever audience members do not escape. A surprisingly lucid epilogue suggests that the correspondence of river names with historical events does provide clues to secret histories behind our own. Surely I can't use secret histories here, can I? I'm gonna say, like, I can use anything except secret histories to upgrade knock. Humors of a Gentleman. I just don't know what's in this book at all. I have no idea, so I'm gonna read it. I guess it might be secret histories. By the end of the first act, Maybelline has revealed a secret door in the walls of the house to Leo, and Corvino is taken to consuming worms. Worms. Is that a moth thing? I found something noteworthy, or winter thing. The Burning of the Unburnt God, compiled by J. Wigglesworth Jensen from Oral Traditions in Rural Persia. I think that actually has a ritual in it. And forge, probably. Well, we've used a quarter of our funds. Alright, now this has a... See, this has a red timer. That generally means that if you don't do something about it, it's going to kill you when the timer finishes. This is the time, my dear. The sun in rags requires his conclusion. Will it be you? Or do you have a friend? So we could just end the game here, let this timer expire, and we get one of the endings. But probably not a great ending. Bye-bye. What a loyal friend you have here. Do say goodbye now. Goodbye, Pawn. We knew you for like 10 minutes. Dorothy, an acquaintance. Dorothy is an enthusiastic sort with an eclectic reading habit. She's fascinated by my hints about the shapes beneath the world's skin. I imagine she's Lantern. Did I read about Victor? Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, I believe I need 7th level knock to promote anyone. So even if I had a knock believer, I still wouldn't have enough to make them a disciple. So yeah, that knock influence isn't gonna do much for me for yet. Got some restlessness coming up, so I'll probably promote someone then. In the meantime, we'll grab another acquaintance or patron or something. Still plenty more of both. Fuel your rumor. Oh, there's a furtive truth in the well. And trembling air, that's a heart influence. Collection of essays. Woo. We'll head into the wood one more time. And then probably give the... Well, I do want more secret histories. Even if I'm not really doing expeditions right now. The play is scabrous and occasionally hilarious. The characters are contrary and capricious. Many of the more resonant lines might well be formulae of power disguised in plain sight. Oh, I guess it didn't have a ritual in it. I thought it would. So there is a ritual that's kind of named something like that. Oh wait, that wasn't the thing that I was reading. The burning of the unburnt god was the thing I was thinking for that. Jensen hypothesizes a pre-Zoroastrian fire deity whose rites were the rites of smiths. So this will probably give us a smith lore and a ritual. We don't really have any rituals yet. I don't think this ritual is a very good one for general purpose use because it probably destroys something. But don't move my cards around, you stupid buttons. Oh, I didn't read it. I should have read that, what Poppy said there, but oh well. I missed it. Now we got a chilly atmosphere. That's gonna decay into dread, too. The Viennese Conundra. Nico van Driel describes odd events in Vienna. The disappearance of children, epidemics of parasite activity, animal mutilations, nightmares of worms, the activities of a charitable organization, the New Ligelians, that funds the burial of the poor. She proposes peculiar connections between these activities. Yeah, since I'm getting a restlessness coming up, I'll paint the restlessness. Oh, except I'm not actually going to be able to get rid of the chilly atmosphere that way. It's just the timing. I was going to get rid of the chilly atmosphere by doing a recruiting into my cult, but timing's not going to work out anyway, so... I'll just let the dread go and deal with it if I have to later. Kill your rumor and vitality. Rumor. Your rumors are another thing that I haven't used much, so I'm not really sure what they all do. I came to the Temple of the Wheel, that high and jagged rock, that memorial to dead gods. Those who take their own lives sometimes first cast themselves from its peak and dream. I found another sleeping soul, scratching the sign of the eye into the lichen at its peak. I do not recall what passed between us, but I will recognize their face in the waking world. We'll have a lot of fun, so let's keep buying books. Morelands might be running out pretty soon, though. Yeah, Rite of the Crucible Soul. This rite uses an instrument of power to set the blood afire. Fire is the lesion in the skin of the world. The assistant rarely survives unharmed. Yeah, they quicken cult recruitment but generate notoriety. Yeah. Makes sense. Jensen ultimately concludes with apparent reluctance that the deity was a goddess. He suggests that its gender may have been the cause of its suppression. The rites described are often eerie, sometimes grisly. Depending on what you're doing, a little bit of and what you've got on your board, a little bit of notoriety isn't necessarily that bad, but can't do anything with you. Oh, that's right, I can hold you there for a moment. Okay, let's get rid of that chilly atmosphere. Who did we get? Porter. Porter was a barber until the court case. Okay, let's get rid of all these influences that I don't want. And we got another collection of poetry. talk about our restlessness. Talk about our chilly atmosphere. Let's recruit Rose, because why not? Yeah, I'm probably a little overcautious with my notoriety and evidence, especially if you don't have, much mystique. You can hide 1 or 2 notoriety when the detective shows up, as long as you pay attention so you aren't busy doing something else. And of course, you get more tools to deal with that when you have a little bit more stuff and can get rid of notoriety with art or get rid of evidence with raw profits. Yeah, just get some more ways to where it becomes less of a problem, but then you're also forced to get more notoriety to do stuff later on too. The dances draw from the traditions of the mysteries, but of the cults of Isis and Cybele, but include both symbolic and literal flayings, and the human heart is always central in the rites. The author punctuates his accounts with queasy, sensuous description of his own interrupted feasts. So, Grail with maybe a rite built into it? Oh, I did work. I told this thing to work. I could have told that thing to get rid of my restlessness. Oh well, it's not really a big deal. It's gonna gobble my dread up there, but not really in any danger. I'm gonna paint to get rid of this other restlessness, I guess, anyway, so. And Rose, a believer. Rose is a slyness, but loyal. See what we've got so far. We have Edge, Winter, more Edge. Let's move all these down. Saliva, Grail. Okay, that's it, really. Keep yammering about stuff. Oh, right, and I can keep buying stuff too. Let's paint. Hopefully we'll just get a contentment from painting. Get rid of this restlessness. We don't have a great use for right now. Suppose I could have held off on the painting for a little bit until he showed up, and he'd go away sooner. But at these greater feasts, a black pig is always crowned as king before its slaying. On this occasion, its heart was weighed in the balance against a knot of feathers, and its skin became a cape for the officiant. Its flesh was left for the crows, but I must confess my interest was not in its carcass, but in the perfumed flesh of the milliner laid fresh in the earth. Now this is like 6th order heart. Actually, now that I have a bunch of things, let's figure out what things actually follow what. So, Forge, then Edge, then Winter, Forge, Edge, Winter, Art, Grail. Oh, I still don't have any Grail, do I? Moth Lantern. Back up to Forge. So this is the So yeah, you study Forge with Edge. You can study Edge with Winter, which gets you Winter. Yeah. I have these all in their order that you can convert them in. But knock, you can use any of these with knock though. Like probably if I run out of things to read immediately, I'll probably use this knock with my Barber's Warning to upgrade it. But I have a bunch of other things to read right now, so, and I'm still getting more books because I still have a pretty significant amount of funds. Actually, I should talk to Poppy again and see. Go ahead and translate this book from Latin. So I don't have a commission from Poppy yet. Orland Shot, The Skeleton Songs, Poems of Greedy Delight, composed by the possibly pseudonymous. I didn't know pseudonym could be made an adjective that way. Arabella Dusk, the rumored heiress turned madam turned poetess. And this is probably also Grail lore. Wait, I still don't have any Grail lore. How have I managed that? I've had a bunch of books that I thought were Grail. I guess none of them were, or I haven't read them yet. Hey, it looks like I might actually, my painting might outlast the detective's interest after all. Furtive Truth again on the well. Maybe the wheel doesn't have secret histories. I'm sure as soon as I pick the well, it'll start showing up on the wheel, but... Let's see, what's this? Oh, patron. Oh, good. Get another patron. Alright, I did paint up a contentment. Despair is the wolf that devours thought. You can defeat despair by feeding it contentment. So yeah, that contentment's going to counteract that despair and make this thing go away. Just turn into fleeting memories, I think. Back to work, back to work. Apollo and Marsyas? The libretto of a lost opera concerning the contest between Apollo and Marsyas and its tragic outcome. The librettist is identified only by their initials, RKNJI. If I knew more of the game, the lore here, maybe I would know who that was. So let's dream of the woods some more. Because why not? Actually, I wonder... I mean, I don't have very much... I don't know for sure what lore will take me past the wood. I probably don't have anything strong enough to go past the wood anyway. Nor do I really need to yet. Come on, let's get some more funds. Or get some more books. Lose some more funds, get some more books. Memories of better times keep the wolf from the door. Each contentment destroyed one dread. Despair abates. The clouds part. The wolf despair prowls elsewhere. No dread empowers this despair. It's over for now. I prepared the text for study. The orchid transfigurations. The illustrations are certainly striking. They flush the skin and glow beneath the eyelids after the book is closed. Oh, the Orchid Transfigurations Volume 2. Is that also in Latin? Probably. A 16th century alchemical fever dream attributed to Robert Flood, frequently banned for the disturbing allure of its illustration. This one is in the original Latin. Again. Starting to make a dent in my funds. So I have a fair amount of other stuff to study once my funds abate. And I might be able to start doing some actual commissions here if I can remember to just do some. Madame Olympier Bechet edits the Karashim Review, which publishes material too ghastly or thrilling for other literary magazines. She could use your assistance. Alright, let's put her up with my patrons in the corner, And, I am, Poppy says with a girlish giggle, curious about, oh, you know, the arts of blood and ice. It's silly, but allow an old woman her whims. Will you help me? So blood and ice. I guess that would be, well, winter for sure would be one possibility. I'm not sure what the other ones, because blood could be Grail or Heart or Hedge. Here's what she needs. Oh, or Knock, I guess, actually. So she needs a substantial... Poppy will pay for information of interest. This time she'd like substantial research on the corporeal mysteries of Knock. So I need Knock lore, a 4th intensity Knock lore for that, which I don't have. I could get it by doing some study, but I have a bunch of books to read, so I'm just going to keep reading books for now. Get her commission as well. Trembling Airs. Yeah, I'm gonna start going to the, well, I think, instead. Oop, we're getting sick. Moorlands is closing. I'm moving on, Miss Moorland informs you. My stock is largely exhausted, and the Suppression Bureau are taking an interest, so it's goodbye. This last book is nonsense, but I've tucked some interesting papers into the back, as a thanks for your custom. So got a Wood Whisperer. That's not bad. And we got... something, deep mysteries, something. A dreadful souffle of half-digested rumor about the secret worlds and the irrelevance of contemporary morality, including a catalog of unlikely and probably invented debaucheries. If I bought this from a shop, it probably means there's nothing else of interest left in stock. So yeah, we have exhausted the supply of books at Moorlands. Which means we could actually make it our headquarters. See, Madame Bichet, she wants substantial moth, which that I can do. Right now. As soon as my work verb is free. Yeah, let's go keep recruiting more people. Well, not recruiting, keep meeting people. And let's sell this something deep mysteries book, because it's not worth anything. This oddity is probably worth something, but it's hard to be sure. Get rid of that. We must devour to be devoured. We cannot be undevoured, as we cannot be unborn. So, we finally have some Grail lore. So we've got at least a little bit of all the different lore now. Study. We have plenty of things to study. Poems of greedy delight, composed by the possibly... Oh, right. I already read the description of this. In Arabella's introduction, she explains that the book was to be illustrated, but that the Suppression Bureau would not permit it. She hints that the illustration still exists somewhere. The book is dedicated to Sir Parzival of the Red Cup. So, that screams Grail to me, too. Everything about that book screams Grail to me. Work. Health. No, not work health. We are going to work on our moth commission. I need Wood Whisperer and some reason. Write a substantial treatise on the moth. Alright, we got a whole 1 funds from that, selling that book. Now let's bid on something at the auction house. We have 10 funds, so that should be pretty safe. Bid on an auction. Oh, actually, I guess maybe we can see what it's going to be. It says it's going to be a collection of essays. I'll bid on it anyway, just to make sure that's accurate. For some reason, I was thinking that it wouldn't tell me what I could bid on. But I guess it does say there. Alright, let's go to the well this time. Just because if it is going to trick me and start putting secret histories on the other location, then at least I'll know. I'm gonna not dream for a few seconds because I need to heal. Heal an affliction. Someone has matched my bid. I must match it with more funds or something something. The 26 delightful fruits, the 7 chastisements, the 9 gardens, the 4 regrets. Another red secret lore. The Viennese conundrum. When the individual K attends the meetings, the black dogs are sacrificed and quartered. When the individual M is in attendance, black mares are found with their throats slashed. I propose that these sacrifices are not necessary, but that our Legian friends may consider them fitting. Herewith, diagrams of the mutilations. Moth, a substantial investigation. I'll need to go deliver that soonish. Not working for a full minute and doing an auction is, you know, making me dip into my funds, but oh yeah, collection of essays, so maybe that is accurate. I'm gonna let the auction house sit for a minute until I sell what I get from that moth commission. Slee. Craig Slee, the astronomer and avant-garde poet, has developed an interest in the esoteric as his health wanes. Him in there. Turn in our moth commission, which I think was to Bechet. Alright, build mission. I received the currency of the secret world and my patron has let tantalizing information slip. We got a bronze spintira, which we can sell. So I definitely want some more funds so that I can sell something of real value. This unusual item will definitely earn you some funds. So I can always get more of those once I have a little bit more lore. Just that I can, once I have, you know, 6th order lore and everything, which I'm not that close to, nor terribly far from. And the extra funds that I get from the auction house will help me to get that lore. Ooh. Speaking of 6th order lore, here's a, or 6th intensity lore, here's a 6th intensity moth lore. Medusa's riddle, then, I choose to render as what is not seen. There's another riddle, one I've heard rendered as what may be lost. I will delineate some historic attempts to answer it. These are themselves, in some sense, sacrifices. ... Possible I'll need to know about those riddles. It depends on what turns up at the stag door. Well, let's head back into the wood. Actually, let's see what it wants for to progress further. I think winter is one option, but I don't have enough winter. Lantern, maybe? Yeah. Yeah, so I don't have strong enough lore to... Oh, or knock. Knock would also work, but... need to upgrade some of those lore more. In De Horis, in Latin, a 19th century reprint by the indefatigable Nathaniel Darcy Evers of a 14th century Latin translation of a 4th century work. Okay. In other words, it might be very garbled. Let's see, was I going to talk to somebody? I guess no one in particular. I'll just go on a hello people. I'll go hello some people. Alright, got 4 more funds from the auction house, so let's hopefully buy a few more things. If we're unlucky, I might only buy like 1 or 2 things. Kruger, I don't need this book. I already have that book. I already read that book. And that just teaches me Greek, so I don't need any duplicates of that. Aren't really useful except to sell. Okay, maybe I'll move. Oh, Lantern works on all of them? I kind of suspect that Knock might work on all of them, but... went to... I don't remember that Knock and Lantern both worked on all. Let's see. For now, let's keep working until... Yeah, let this collection of... Or, no, that's Greek. Yeah, that's a collection of poetry at least has some use, but the Greek has no use, so I'm going to let it go by. Reality. I haven't won the auction. The auction is over, the lot has gone on elsewhere, I retain my funds. What do we got now? Debellus Murorum. In Latin, 18th... I feel like I read that already, but duplicate lore is at least useful, so I'll go ahead and do that. This volume deals mostly with the hours of the wood, the moth, the black flax, the ring yew, among others. Speaking of the wood, let's go to the wood. Work. Until I can do... Until I can do more commissions consistently. Bells Morum. Oh, that was a cheap auction for a change. Let's go try another one. Like I can get another commission up here too. There is a furtive truth. Still haven't seen any secret histories out of the wheel, so I'm thinking that it's just the well and wood from this one. Barber's Warning. Yeah, we have lots of moth lore. Kinda just want to upgrade my locksmith's secret, but I got these books to read, so I'll read these books. In the original myth, Marsyas lost a musical contest and was flayed by Apollo, who later regretted it. In this version, Marsyas' skin has a further history. That. Who did we get? Oh, a hanger-on. That's fine, they're not necessarily completely useless. But let's just get rid of this restlessness. We'll recruit, who do I want to recruit? Let's recruit Victor. Oop, come on. Double click, there we go. Recruit an acquaintance by invoking Knock again. And then I'll probably talk to get another commission, but not in a big hurry on the commission since I might not have what it takes to do them anyway. Oh, I should have checked what the... I didn't check what the prize was. I just got another Latin book. I guess I can sell it. Might actually get more than I paid for. Potentially. So I always thought that I couldn't tell what was up for auction, but... So I hadn't been, so I forgot to check. Victor, Believer. Victor is also Edge, which I guess that's all of the Edge named characters. Where'd Victor go? Oh, there he is. And I got more restlessness. Let's do Porter. Porter. I think Porter might be an actual Knock cultist once he's recruited. Don't remember for sure. Keep on going. The skin in Marsyas gives Oracle. temples, and is later smuggled to Phrygia, where the priestesses of Cybele use it for a drumhead. At the opera's climax, the pounding of the drum drives would-be violators of the priestess to suicidal madness. The opera ends with a wistful hymn from the youngest priestess on the beauty of mountain pines. A thunderous secret. Actually, heart is one of the... Maybe heart is for this stag door. I know heart is useful for one of the ways, I think. I don't remember. It'll come up at some point. Let's see. What do we want to read now? I don't know if we've done anything that's in Greek. Let's read this thing that's in Greek. Auction, a total lack of interest. That's fine. Don't care. Recruit an acquaintance by invoking knock. Only little wound, blah blah blah. Porter is... Oh no, Porter is moth. I don't remember any of these being knock then. Maybe none of these are. Let's see if we can get another commission. Another collection of essays or something. I'm going to ignore that one. Mission Grail Substantial. I do not have Substantial Grail, though I could study these to get Substantial Grail. But that doesn't really seem worth the time while I'm still not out of money and I do have more books. So I'll just keep studying the books that I've got for now. I do not need a collection of poetry. I already have 3 of them. That's plenty. What is contained by silver? A dire bestiary of the horrors to be found in mirrors. This is a recent edition of a 3rd century text by Pomander. Yeah. Alright, let's because we've got a detective out. We were tempted to try that peculiar rumor, but since we've got a detective, I'm not going to. So I think there's still one more patron to recruit, or to meet. Oh, there's a Furtive Truth. Finally, it showed up in the wheel. I think there were like 4 of them that showed up in the well before I ever saw one in the wheel. History is... Though they probably have all the same probability. I just have had some weird luck there. Yep, I'm gonna get new acquaintance. Alright, we have right. The virgins / maidens of the mirror favor orchids. The behindlings favor the rhododendron. Cut flowers of either nature should not be placed before polished bronze. An appendix contains a rite which might be used to summon some of these entities, although the details of its use are not made clear. It's the rite of the watchman's sorrow. This rite recalls the loss of the watchman, who walks the house which has no walls. Light goes before him and shadow behind. He must not see you. The instrument of power is used to summon him to take his sacrifice. Precious knowledge from the root of your thoughts. The assistant must speak the words that anchor your sanity, so choose someone you trust. Yeah, so this rite must take an instrument, some lore which gets consumed, and an assistant. So that's probably not one that I'm likely to use much, because I don't like to give up my lore. But we also got a Manzasclip, which is a 4th order lantern, which we can actually use for a commission. A snatch of poetry, a single memory of a certain house that all of us visit at least twice in our lives. One's first visit to the Mansus, this lore is almost essential. Now, it's probably not strong enough to get me to the White Door. Imagine I need 6th Order lore, but we'll give it a try anyway. Oh, we gotta read something else, or decode something else. Let's de-Latinify this Orchid Transfiguration Volume 2. So I could, if that gets me Grail, then I can use that for a commission as well. Alright, what do we have here? The true and complete accounting of the Asclepian mysteries of the roots of the house. Reproduced by one Riley Greece from, supposedly, a much older text in Greece. Or in Greek. Lantern. Men's and Squimps with reason. Go. And more restlessness, so we'll get another Cultist here in a moment. I should probably just collect any secret histories that I see, but... Okay, we got that book. That was easy. The auctions so far have been going pretty cheap. I don't think I've had to spend more than 2 on anything, and most of them have only been 1. It definitely can be a lot worse than that. Or get something else here. Sanskrit reader. Well, I don't need that. Also, the useless things have been coming up early for some reason. Oh, right, I was going to check. Oh, except I'm using it. Never mind. Wait, this isn't useful here, is it? No. Is it winter? Yeah, it's winter for the White Door. That makes sense. And that came up in one of the books, actually, I think, mentioned that. What was he doing? Passion. That'll get me. That's a book I don't care about. And who did we meet? Isabet. Isabet has always been most comfortable by moonlight. She has excellent night vision. She's often overlooked in daylight. You might be able to recruit this person, blah, blah, blah. I think she's Moth. I do like Moth followers, but I already have one, so... I might let her sit for a while. Talking. Let's recruit... Now, let's recruit... We got a Claire already. Recruit Dorothy. Go! Keep checking the auction house, but it hasn't changed. It's not going to change by itself. Alright, we finished translating the Orchid Transfigurations Volume 2. Flood, or pseudo-flood, suggests alignments between the alchemical tradition of Rubido and the older Grail traditions, through the Pine Knight's quest for the Cinnabar Cup. Still have decent funds, so let's continue bidding. We finished our manuscript. Who is this for again? Doctor. But I'm gonna have to wait for my talk room to be ready before I can turn that in. Collection of poetry. Still not gonna buy that. Anyway, Dorothy is now a believer. Dorothy is an enthusiastic sort, and I have turned her enthusiasm to our advantage. I'll give us another bronze Spintira, which is worth 4 funds or so. 4 to 6. And we'll just keep going through the wood until I can get some lore to go higher, or they make me change my mind. Ooh, this we want. Stum. Or stummy. I can't tell if that's an exclamation point or an I at the end, but a can of nitrate film labeled stum, silent, or perhaps mute. The director's name, Jernit Cross, is shakily appended. We are definitely going to want to bid on that, as many times as it takes. Hopefully we won't run out of funds. That would be bad. Seek the cup in the birthing bed, the Pine Knight is told. The midwife at the birthing bed, to his amazement, is the Mountain Mother. In a fit of awe, he both gelds and flays himself. The vigilant storm bursts joyfully from the remains. Ooh. A Megalesian incantation. The Great Mother remembers. Well, we got 4th Order Grail lore, so we could actually do a commission on that now. I'm gonna wait until I for sure get my translate this book. For sure get this stum purchased. So I can't actually sell what I get from... Okay, good. That wasn't hard. The auctioneer makes a note of my name and signals one of the attendants. Yeah, we're gonna want to do this one next. Okay, that is an exclamation point now that I can zoom in on it. Stum! Go ahead and sell this. Hey, Reason, finally, another patron. I think this might be the last patron. There's that Bird of Truth up at the well. It does seem to show up there more often. But that could very easily just be randomness. Okay, let's do our Grail commission, because we can. What we got now? We got 4 funds. Alright, we finished that book, but let's actually watch this movie instead. But we have to buy a projector to watch it, so we'll do that. Yeah, single fund. Well, my concern was that I might have had to spend a lot of funds to get Stum, because that can be quite random. But I know once you have it, you just need 1 fund. The film rattles through the projector, glows silently on the wall. It is the story of a foolish student of forbidden sciences who recruits a dancer to entice the dead back into the world through a flaw in its skin. It's a fiction, but here on a title card is laid out the operation of the declining sun. Oh, let's keep buying books, I guess, because I may as well. Oh, something deep mystery something. Okay, I guess we're done buying books from the auction house now. I guess it gave us Stum at the very, very end. And finally, we meet Count Jannings. Count Gottlob Jannings represents a continental confraternity of physicians and duelists. He could use your assistance. I think that's our last one. And he teaches Latin. Where's there one? Maybe there's one more. She teaches Greek. I was thinking somebody taught something that I don't know yet. Aramaic. Yeah, he teaches Aramaic. So that could be something I get from him. Yeah, let's see what commission he wants. Yeah, we can get... Should be able to get money at a pretty good clip now. start collecting some places to explore. Done. Done buying things from the auction house. Count Jennings wants heart. We have and substantial. We've been. No one's wanted very substantial or basic lore yet. It seems like. I guess it's fine. It's like I usually have a make my way to the white door a little quicker than this, but I don't remember. I haven't played in quite. I haven't played one of. I guess I played a little bit kind of recently, but let's see. I definitely lost my train of thought there. Okay, here is who wants this. She does. Go get rid of that. Build up our funds to start. Oh right, I forgot you get dread from this, but whatever. The right is depicted in chilling detail. Here is the flaw in the world, an influence shimmering in luminous paint. Here is the dancer establishing an irresistible rhythm. Here the scholar recites the operation. And now the misty dead whirls through the flaw to consume him. The film closes on the dancer's watchful eyes. Had she intended it all from the start? An operation of the declining sun. This invokes, acknowledges, and welcomes the passage to silence. That, and more importantly, we have the sunset rite. The assistant must cry tears of genuine emotion, which are asperged in the place where the influence lies. If all is done well, the sun and rags will consume the influence, acknowledging an ending and lend its assistance. Because this ritual that okay guys, I'm gonna use that dread real soon. That only gobbles up an influence, and you can use more and a follower in it. So it's a really nice ritual, but I need some stronger stuff for that to really be useful, I think. But let's see, let's get a little bit more money and then maybe hire some people to help do some stuff and go on an expedition. Let's go ahead and sell this. Oh, and I guess I can study this poem. The poem elliptically describes a war between beasts, weather phenomena, and arcane concepts. It's quite specific about their tactics. Let's do our heart commission here, because we definitely can do that. We can even do very substantial heart commissions if we could get one. Let's look for someone to hire. The subtle flaw. Someone to hire. A hulking fellow. I get the job done. This hireling may be useful for some expeditions and can help with hunters and annoyances. And we're sick. What's coming up? We do have a hunter coming up, so I'm not feeling exceptionally excited about doing an expedition with a hunter around, but as long as the expedition takes long enough for him to gobble all my mystique, it doesn't really matter. The 2-1 joined and the horn distinguished. Consequently, blood. Hilarious lesson. Wait, what's this written in? Greek. Decode that book. I don't think I really have enough Or to summon anything exciting, but I do have a few 6th order wars. Edge, Heart, or Forge. Well, Edge. Then not enough intensity. Probably I don't have. Probably my believers are too weak for this. Oh, I could summon one of the voiceless dead. These are the dead who do not descend or ascend, but who remain in the mansis and dream of winter. The power of winter, along with a little of the heart's warmth, will draw them here. We will try to summon one of the voiceless dead. My dread just gonna expire? Oh, good. I'll just let it do that. Let's explore... Let's see, should I explore close by or a little further away? Let's just try to find an easy one, because I'm kind of... don't have a lot. Yet. Sylvia, an acquaintance. Sylvia lost her eye in the woods when she was 9 years old. Every year at Candlemas, she returns to the place she buried it. Heal up. Oop, not that. Use this. Alright, we have a hulking fellow who will work for us for a little bit. Hopefully our summoning will succeed. Alright. A true and complete accounting of the Asclepian mysteries of the roots of the house. Description of the Asclepian mysteries, reproduced by one Riley Grease from... Oh, right. We read that part already. It's unlikely to be genuine, but it makes a reference to the house without walls and its wood, right there in the prologue. Study that, and then we'll be out of books for a bit, though I have plenty of lore I could do stuff with still. Oh hey, it succeeded. A dark shape limned with winter light. It will not speak, but its eyes are avid, looking, looking. The dead always long for the world, eventually. So we've got some voiceless dead. Now this has 6 winter aspect, but I guess that's still not enough for the maid. 6 moth. Can I get a raw profit with 6 moth and little... No, I need more grail, I think. Let's see. Alright, and I need an influence that I could put into that. This would not do much for me. Yeah, doesn't matter. We'll just wait for this secret place to be found and go there. Let's turn in this, who wants this again? Doesn't take very long to turn these in, so I can do that and then get the next one. It's more vitality. Get another commission for her. Poppy's the one who wants a knock. I remember that one, so I don't need to... Wouldn't do me any good to get another commission from her. Doctor. The doctor I can get another commission from, though. Alright. St. Agnes Hospital. This isn't the one that has a curse, is it? Oh well, I guess I'll find out. This could be actually a bad idea, but... And some funds. Only echoes walk the hospital halls now, but malice lingers in the air. We must search meticulously, room by room. Most of the early locations are not that dangerous to things that you don't send there, but there's some exceptions to that. Secret history is substantial, that's easy enough. Let me go ahead and recruit. Sylvia, I guess. Oh, actually, I'm going to get some restlessness here in a few seconds, so I'll wait for that. Finish our work. Do our Secret Histories Commission. Fixed our health. The direction of death is down, the book explains. The peacock door has been considered a rent, or an abrasion, but in some respects is more like a mouth, if not a more treasured point of entry. Discussions of the doors include a rite which may conjure creatures through those doors, though key incantations are missing. Rite of the map's edge. I don't remember what's required, what that one's set up as. Oh, and we got words that walk. The syllables of this formula are compelling. I find myself snapping my fingers to its rhythm. It desires not to cease. Rite of the map's edge. The vagabond is the only hour that never enters the menses. This rite must be performed in the right place, in the right time, and the vagabond will take that rightness for her own. Let's see, I have glimmerings. I probably need erudition. Matter which thing I use with knock. I mean, this requires glimmerings. Well, let's just try to upgrade our knock a bit. Except now I don't have any knock to do, because that was my only knock lore that I found this whole time. I don't have any knock to do my ceremony with. Okay, our expedition plans for the next challenge will consume funds. So dry soul curse. That's a problem because I don't have really any heart or lantern. I have a very small chance of success, I think, with that. So I'm probably gonna suffer for this. Wait, lantern. I had some lantern. Guess not. Doesn't matter, because it'd still only be 2. Yeah, probably gonna suffer for this. I don't have any way at this point to counter the curse once it's hit me. Perhaps the power of that old and fecund hour, the ring you, can protect us from the curse. Perhaps not. Probably not. And I'm also going to be sick. And I'm going to have some dread. Oh, it wants erudition, not a glimmering. I would want glimmering because of the moth, but I guess it's just the Nox, and so it wants erudition. Oh well. Try to fix everything that I can fix out of that. Oh, let's do this Grail Commission. Grail's just gonna, the Spintira I get from the Grail one is gonna probably be probably used to learn Aramaic. The curse clings. Yep, I'm cursed. There is a price to be paid when one trespasses in a place like this. Someday soon the curse will tighten around us. So yeah, that's gonna be bad. Dry soul curse has not yet taken effect. But that doesn't actually stop us from exploring here. It just causes us some misery. Will cause me some misery later. I'm gonna have more restlessness. Like all. Like these. I'm gonna need some erudition to make progress on that. But I'm about to probably get some books anyway, so. Well. Yeah, let's get another someone. I was hoping I'd burn up all my mystique before this finished, so I might wind up with also some notoriety at the same time as all this other stuff. So that, if this finishes at the right time, there's not much I can do about it. What was this place? The door bore no sign. There were no windows. The walls were painted a rich violet. Rich even now, after the ravages of rain through the leaking ceiling. A rotting chair has leather straps on the arms. The floor is porcelain and ruddled. There is a padlocked cupboard in the wall. It does not long resist our strength. It contains instruments tipped with flint and glass, instruments one would not expect a surgeon to use. It contains other matters of more interest to us, too. It looks like the dry soul curse is consuming my reason. Empty hospitals. That's another possible headquarters for us. Let's see what else we got. Stained gloves. What uses have these known? What lessons might they teach my hands? It's a grail instrument. Rose pearl dust. That's a heart ingredient. Pearls are sacred to the witch and sister, especially those of this color. They've been used in protective rites, among others. The Rose of Hypatia. Marked with the tripled sign of the arcane contemplative order known as the Sisterhood of the Knot in Greek. And then we got the Locksmith's Dream, Trespasses, the third volume of Teresa Galmier's examination of parallels in the mystic dreams of artisans. Okay, that probably has knock lore in it, so I should probably study that. In this volume, notoriously, Galmier's prose begins to disintegrate, and it is not clear which dreams are in fact her own. Okay, I can still probably afford to go to another location, so let's do that before these two expire. Now, for the notoriety, I can either try to paint through one step. This guy finishes, or maybe I can get rid of it by moving. Forget how I move. Maybe I have to explore these locations, and my exploration is going to be busy. An empty hospital. Phantoms, the neighbors say, still walk the echoing halls here. If we take possession, of course, they will leave, or we'll turn them to our use. Help. I don't have my heart. Believers are probably too weak to hide anything from this guy too. But maybe if we're lucky, I will paint a little bit long enough to hide our notoriety that way. And let's have a look at our Dry Soul Curse here. The Dry Soul Curse settles softly like a withered hand on the shoulder. Oh, hulking. Oh, I should have talked to him so he wouldn't go away so quick. Alright, the Strathcoin's residence. The house of Mr. Strathcoin, a collector of rare objects. Strathcoin will not sell his treasures, but a sufficiently cunning accomplice might gain entry. That sounds like I'm going to need some aspects that I don't have in abundance right now. The woman in the sand-colored robe has told me, the stairways of the Mansis go ever up, death is down. I think I read this already. I guess this was not... I guess this is a moth. Rat. The curse has taken hold. Now the tunnel tightens around all I see. Only if you have enough heart influence will it be possible to turn aside the curse. I have no way of getting that much heart influence, because this is like 15th order or 12th? 10th order, and I'm not at all close to being able to get up that. Yes, I will... Well, I guess I'll read this. Read. Greekity. Let's turn in some of these. Well, I want to wait for him to go away before... I don't think turning in manuscripts gets me any mystique, but just to be sure, I'm gonna not do that. This is probably a terrible idea, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Then some... Mr. Strathcoin is forbidden entry to his library. Unfortunate. Let's see what we can do. I'm actually not even sure if I can have anything to get through a locked door. Sylvia is moth. Dorothy is heart. Well, let's... Don't know if I have anybody who could maybe do it, but we'll try. Ah. I think this is gonna work out. Oh, maybe. Passion, mystique, notoriety, mystique. Okay, maybe that did work out. Okay, so Hope is Lantern. Now Clifton improvises new prayers rich with solar metaphors. He still shouts like a soldier and drinks like a sailor. Expedition continues. Okay. Mortals, perhaps even ordinary mortals, but quite a number of them. They can be fought, seduced, or deceived. So, yeah, I got a moth. I could try sending more moth. I don't think I can get up to 10. Well, I could get up to 10. Sure, let's max out our moth here. It's going to take a couple of gives. And there's our reason, gone forever. We've lost a reason permanently. My skull creaks, the light grays. The dry soul curse, we missed our last chance. There's not really much we can do. Oh, great. Oh, actually, that should work out, because it can't have two of these at once. And you'll still be considering the evidence when that expires. So in that case, let's start recruiting some more. A likely deception? A powerful deception. Look closer. Closer still. Closer! Keep looking. Closer. Now close your eyes. The Rose of Hypatia. Saint Nympha is described as not born but cultivated. The sentience that became the saint, Hypatia, indicates inhabited a sinner's corpse in order to enable that sinner's redemption. I am safe for now. Woo! But the despair is about to come up. I hear bewilderment. Their bewilderment is our opportunity. Will pass in silent secrecy. Oh, my painting got me a few funds. My recent work is considered significant. I may yet earn a living from this, but nothing is certain. Well, that's not bad. My funds were getting a touch on the low side. Notoriety's not going to expire for a while, and I'm getting myself another notoriety, but oh well. The dread might be my more immediate problem. Not all the dead enter the Manzus by the winter door. Not all the dead enter the Manzus at all. We got another Wood Whisperer. We could really upgrade. I mean, I'll probably just use these for knock mostly. Let's get ourselves an erudition so that we can, with our 2 remaining reasons, so that we can study our knock into something else. Funds there. Yep, there goes red. But I didn't get a contentment with my last painting. I could try for that, I suppose, some more. Did I try for that? Probably I should try for that. Let's leave the notoriety alone. Alright, some mystique. I guess I got the extra funds. One thing that when you use notoriety in your painting, it does increase the chance of funds more than mystique does. Okay, who did we get this time? Cat Caro. Cat Caro, she styles herself, earns a living as a stage medium and a fortune teller. She may have deeper talents. Lantern, probably? Hey, let's recruit her. What do we got here? Strathcoin's treasures. Out into the night. We escape unseen. The next day, there are reports of a fire at Strathcoin's. Did someone knock a live coal on the hearthrug? Or did Strathcoin destroy the place himself as part of some larger scheme? Let's see what all we got here. The Journal of Alessandro Lacrosse. Prince Alessandro Lacrosse spent years in secret study of the tablets taken from the Fucine marshes in central Italy. His work will allow you to decipher Fucine texts, so that's a language that I haven't seen yet. The annotated dream journals of Christopher Illopoli, sometimes called the only readable occultist, literate, blah 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 blah. This is the 3rd volume. I think we've read the first 2 volumes, maybe? So I could read those, but I'm actually gonna upgrade my knock lore. Well, I'll read one of these and then upgrade knock lore. Also, we got another notoriety. And the detective is going to definitely find those soon. Oh, here's some more stuff down here. The treatise on underplaces. Herein, 17th century mystic and antiquarian Claude Hersal describes the bounds or underplaces on the borders of dream. He warns that they shift over time. The Locksmith's Dream, Stolen Reflections. The 4th volume of Teresa Gaumier's expansive work, no longer a discussion of the dreams of artisans, but a valuable survey of other works. The tone is calmer than that of Trespasses, but occasionally fearful, even paranoid. This volume was published in 1926, but almost immediately recalled and pulped by the publisher, at the request of the author or possibly the authorities, depending on which story you believe. A few copies survive. The Wainscot Histories. Subtitled Stories from Behind the Walls, a miscellany of non-traditional histories compiled by William Gore, including battles not generally acknowledged in countries which appear on no map, told in a playful, apparently fictional manner. One fell out of my pocket. Didn't fall very far. Okay. Getting towards the end of my stream probably, but before I actually quit, I probably want to deal with my notoriety. One way or another. And my dread. Because apparently I still didn't get any contentment. Cat Taro, a bright-eyed, watchful woman who recalls her dreams perfectly. So she has some lantern aspect. I don't have anyone else with lantern aspect yet. Oh yeah, I do. Actually, Pope Clifton does. Too much Mystique for Mystique to be a thing, because I wasn't thinking, and let my Mystique build up, even though I was going to get more notoriety. So I can't use painting to hide it very effectively. Could use it, I guess, as a last resort. I could use it. I guess that's what I'll wind up doing. It's sort of tedious to do that, but looks like my best option. Alright, a smith. To reach the stag door. Oh, I got erudition from that anyway. I believe that all you really need is to want something enough. But I've never wanted anything that much. Except, of course, Baldemero. And I'm very much afraid that the knot in the story is this. What Baldemero wants is the stag door. But here's something I learned in Persia. Perhaps it'll teach what you want. And we got another smith's secret. So let's go ahead and upgrade our knock lore, because I'm tired of that just being at the lowest intensity. We should be able to upgrade it now. Locking. Let's go ahead and turn in some of these. Alright, we'll feed our notoriety, passion, and not even bother giving it mystique. We're just gonna paint with his stuff and hope for the best. Spintira. So I'll probably hang on to this one instead of selling it, and I'll use it to learn Aramaic. Secret Histories. Who was one in that again? Oh, the Doctor. Right. He's the Secret Histories guy. Turning in and getting commissions doesn't give me any mystique, so I can do that safely. Safely-ish. Chilly atmosphere, that's going to decay into dread, which is going to put me somewhat in danger here, because one more dread would be very bad. So let's, but I can get rid of that chilly atmosphere by recruiting another person. We will do that. Oh, except that I'm busy with my knock. Can I get the stag door riddle? No, don't think I have enough intensity of the anything I need to progress to that point yet. Know which riddle it is. Oh boy, more restlessness. Okay, now we're in real danger. Well, I guess not so much, because I'll just paint with the restlessness. I can get rid of that with paint. Hey, contentment, and also a contentment. That'll make that not dangerous. There's another dread. Oh, I just need level 4 for the white door? For some reason I thought my level 4 wasn't enough. Alright, I guess so. Yes. Okay, then let's go check out the stag door. After the white door. There is a house in the wood. I know something of that house, enough to find my way to its light. It's a decent chance I have the right lore, though not a great chance. I have 2 of plenty of things to get up to 6th order for the riddle, though. For almost everything except no, I'd have lantern. Can make 6th order of. Looks like I make 6th order of everything except edge. Yes, I'm also curious about that. I just didn't think I could actually check yet. I'd really like to get rid of that dread, but I guess I'm gonna have to not yet. Alright, do we want a glimmering? We do want a glimmering. Here's a glimmering. Oh, and another contentment. A random lucky contentment from the time passes. I forget what that age was, but... And our despair is gone. So we still have a dread, but it's not going to hurt us if it expires soonish. Yeah, this I don't need to put anything in there yet. So I'll go ahead and sell this sign. Leave it away. Do. What do we got here? These are the bounds about the house with their mists and traces. This the rock called the Temple of the Wheel, high as a church spire, patched with black lichen and daubed with eye signs. I round it, and there ahead of me is the white door. The light of the house leaks around its edges. In my dreams, I pass the white door, which has been called the Bone Door and the Gate of Ivory. My voice remains outside the house each time I enter. Alright, let's go in the white door. In my dreams, I know the path to the white door, through the bounds, but that path is thronged with the dead who pass that way. I will need health to resist their chill. What else can I put in here? That? To the stag door. The ascent is slow. Winds from nowhere pluck at me. My skin is stained with light. The wood shivers with motion far below. Give it our temptation to try and get up there. Probably be talking to somebody about something, but let's just see what we get to here. We got our funds. See, I could probably explore something too, for that matter, but... No, that despair is going to come up just in time to cause my headaches with that dread, probably. An Igwavine right. When we open a thing, then we learn its nature. I've deepened my understanding of the lore that opens, which we call by its aspect, knock. Every door in the Mansus requires its sacrifice before it will open. Igwavine rites prescribe the manner of the sacrifice. Okay, let's use that to get rid of our dread here. Dread. Now we can knock another 2 seconds off our notoriety. If I knew for sure he's going to take this one, then I might just let him have it, let this one expire. But Now we'll keep doing this and hope the timing works out a little better. The Stag Door, a ridged barrier of blood-streaked horn, huge enough for a ship to pass. It was broken long ago, and even now the scars are not quite healed. In a declivity beside the door rests a vast and wounded golden head. Its mouth would be large enough to swallow me, were its jaw not shattered. It is the name, Gearby. Gearby. It begins to intone its riddle. Now let's see what riddle we got. What must open before this way opens? Answer this riddle to pass the Stag Door and be accounted a no. Must open before that. I think I don't have that lore yet, but is that knock? Pretty sure I don't have that one yet. That sounds very familiar, but I don't think I've seen that, myself. I don't think I have the lore that has that on as its thing. I think that's knock. That seems like a very knock thing, but I want to work on getting my knock up to 6 anyway, so that I can start making disciples. Because I could get that knock influence from the wood to make some disciples, and if I ever get a knock believer, then I could just make them a disciple easily. But anyway, I'm just gonna let this go a little longer to try and Gore does not mention the Mantis directly, but constant coy metaphorical references to the ascending staircase of years, to the doors of sleep, and to the blue light of dawn suggest that he had commerce with the unseen world. We'll read that book, because we may as well. And I'm just going to let the guy take something. Oh good, he took some mystique. That's excellent. I don't know why I have 2 groups of funds here. So that notoriety is just going to burn itself out. Oh, and I'm sick. Woo. I guess it's a good thing I just did some physical labor. Or am doing. Yeah, this is just a furtive truth. It was common in that time to speak of the division of the sun by which contemporaries understood the eruption of barbarian forces and their uncouth gods. Let's read this next book. The walls of the Mantis, where Saul begins, are the size of starlight. Many of his directions are equally unhelpful, but common relationships do emerge. This is going to burn itself out. Yay, it's gone. We'll have to fix our sickness. Let's go ahead and try and find another acquaintance or 2 as well. Oh, he took another. That means there's a very good chance that I will simply this mystique's gonna burn out before he goes again, so let's use that. Got a pretty good chance that he won't see any of my notoriety now. Pretty good chance. Even if I just let him do his thing at this point. Oh, another Iguvine right. That's good. I like having 2 of the lore. I could combine these to upgrade them, but they probably would be smarter for me to use some of these other things, like the Wood Whisperer there. On the 18th ascent is the bud. On the 36th ascent, the blossom. See what he takes. Aha! My notoriety is probably safe then, although it actually is a few seconds longer than his timer. I might just hide it for 1 more cycle, I guess. Need to paint anyway. I don't think he's latched on to any of these yet. It would be pretty safe here in a minute, unless we're unlucky with our painting duration. No, just another one of those. Other hanger-on, don't really care about them. I guess I can learn Fusine. It has something in common with Latin and something else in common with the scratching of maddened rats. Develop an understanding of the long-dead Fusine language. More restlessness. Thanks. Thanks, game. That's what I wanted. More restlessness. Well, its notoriety only has 0.6 seconds left on it, so it's probably fine. Probably safe now, but we'll just throw in one more painting and then we'll be pretty sure. Whoops, all my passion's exhausted. I can't dream with passion to recover it. Oh, I guess it'll unexhaust just before this finishes, so that should be fine. More restlessness. Jeez, I thought there was a period where I didn't get any restlessness for a long time. Now it's just beating me over the head with restlessness. In places it overlaps with languages I know. In other places, well, I can see why they call it the tongue of witches, but I can understand it well enough now. And we'll read this volume of the Locksmith's Dream. Janus is the gatekeeper, the twin god, the god that wounds, the presager of changes, the sun, the moon. So we identify him with the watchman, the twins, with the mother, with the forge, with the meniscate, and the madrigad. He cannot be all these, can he? The Flaminus knew the church, knew the dryling, knew Elagabalus. Is he then synthesis, or is he something else? In Galatia, they called him Lanus Laminus, but the Oblivious are notorious for their slanders. More restlessness. And my notoriety is gone. Now I don't have to worry about that until I get more. Oh, I couldn't get I guess the passion didn't come up in time. Now I need to get rid of some restlessness. I may as well paint again. I got lots of mystique. I'll just paint. Save the passion so that I can recruit some more. Or make acquaintances some more. Fascination. Haven't got any of that yet. Janus has, they say, not one face but two. To which I reply, why only one? Why only two? Versalt and Cosley, according to Thomas Love Denman, once agreed that Janus was all the gods and none, but later Versalt insisted he was all the gods, and Cosley favored simply none. Denman was a sinister dilettante, but this rings true of them both. Light leaks through the cracks. My mind is brighter than it ever was. The higher I rise, the more I see. Yeah, fascination is dangerous. I want to get rid of that if possible. And we got 6th Order lanterns. That's pretty nice. Mercy, saith the watchman, is found only in shadow. That is not the riddle we have. Did I run out of books? I ran out of books. That's fine. Well, I have a fleeting reminiscence. I think that's what I need to get rid of fascination. So let's just... The doors of vision swing wide. A little darkness will mellow my light. Even dread has its uses. So let's just get rid of that. I have glimmerings, but I don't have any erudition. Let's go ahead and get an erudition and try to upgrade our knock lore a little more. We finally got rid of our notoriety. Getting everything else all straightened up here. I'm gonna upgrade my knock lore and then we'll end the stream, I think. Then it'll be about 9:30. An Ingwavine right with a Wood Whisperer. So I have so much of this moth lore, I don't need all of that. There are incantations of unseeming, where the space between worlds is as potent as the actual syllables. When a thing is open, we will know its nature. Yeah, we fixed our... Well, we fixed all our things, really. Sell this bronze spintear. Alright, Leo. Leo. I don't know what aspect he is. I don't remember. Alright, I could just do this commission. Am I gonna need knock in the next minute? I don't think so. For reason. Do that. And we'll keep looking for more followers. Our funds are looking pretty nice, getting close to 20. Alright, what do you want? You want erudition. Here you go. Well, my glimmerings are gonna expire very soon. Thought one of those was gonna hang around longer, but I guess not. I don't have anywhere I can put it, I don't think. Oh well, it'll still do the erudition part at least. Hey, we got some bonus funds from that, actually. Well, if I'm lucky, maybe this'll... Maybe I can get some glimmerings quick enough from painting to finish the lore upgrade. Aha, despair! There was no dread for you to eat this time. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna finish in time. Unless it finishes right now. Nope. My studies have been stymied for now. And I don't think I even got a glimmering, so... Ovette. And I just want the one thing. This is Poppy's commission, I remember. I remember Knock was my very first commission. I haven't been able to do it until now. Okay, these are now slightly different because that one's got its erudition requirement removed. I'm just going to assume that I'm going to get a little glimmering from my current paint job and try to do this. Is this a glimmering? No, it's a restlessness. That's right, there's always restlessness. Normally I'd take that restlessness and see if it'll let me summon something fun, but I think I have enough going on right now. Oh, there's a glimmering, good. Well, sure. Glimmering! Or restlessness. And I don't have any... The problem is I don't have any disciples to bump my aspects up over 6, so... We'll just get rid of the restlessness this way. Pick one of these people that I don't remember what they do. Clavette Knock? I don't remember. There's one acquaintance that I'm pretty sure when I see their name I'll remember that they're Knock, but I don't know. Let's see. Well, that is heart. Ran under Dorothy there. Alright, we're 28 funds, so we're doing pretty nicely on funds now. Oh, more restlessness. Guess I'll paint more. Come on, paint. Because why not? May as well. Got all this mystique anyway. The consent of wounds. When we open a thing, then we learn its nature. I've deepened my understanding of the lore that opens. I guess that says the same thing always, but a consent of wounds. To open certain ways, one must first open oneself. This practice outlines that opening in the name of the mother of ants. Okay, that is the answer to our riddle. What must open before this way opens? One must first open oneself. But we'll actually do that. A serpent's answer. I myself must be open. Behold my blood which is shed. We'll bring ourselves up to the stag door with that. And that'll probably be a good place to stop for tonight. Just as soon as this finishes. And it took reason, which means it's looking for a patron, but I think I'm out of patrons, so that'll give me a case of mistaken identity. The stag door is the Adept's Gate. To pass it is to be initiated into the first true mystery of the House of the Sun. The head, Gearby, weeps to see me enter where it cannot, but it must let me pass. The scarred valves of the door grind open. We sort of skipped the white door, we haven't gone in there yet. But here's a Forgotten Chronicle. Let's take that. 6th Order Secret Histories. I want to hang on to that in case I get a very substantial Secret Histories commission instead of exploring. Yeah, way through the stag door. In my dreams, I found the way to the stag door, sometimes called the Horn Gate or the Adept's Door. I've answered its riddle and am counted among the know. Alright, I'm just gonna set this to start. Next time, and that's where we'll end this stream. We continue our stream with a Cultist Simulator next time. I'm gonna need to expand my... I need to expand my cult a lot and get a bunch of disciples. All of those expeditions are going to be real dangerous until I have more disciples. Until I have upgraded, a lot of cultists to disciples. But I can get knock lore to the 8th intensity. That will be easy. With it at 6, that'll be somewhat less easy. Also, I'll have to get knock influences. But once I've discipled everybody, basically, once I have 2 disciples of each aspect, the most expeditions will be pretty safe. You just put a couple meat shields in the front that are hirelings or summons, and then your disciples can have a very high chance of solving all the problems. So, yeah, good progress. I lost a reason permanently. That was unfortunate. But, yeah, I'll probably have to try to upgrade my reason again. I think I can upgrade it one more time without needing any particular lore, so I'll probably try to do that too relatively soon. But yeah, night-night, Seal101, night-night, good night, Rayburst. See you next time. I don't know if this game was interesting. I'll probably want to do at least one more. Yeah, I still don't have anybody with knock. That's weird. It's like it knows that I picked knock. So that's why I can't even, like, normally you get your 6th level lore. It's like, oh, I can take all my people who match my cult and upgrade them to disciples easily, but no, it didn't give me any. But yeah, I'll get them at some point. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely recruit more people. I'm gonna meet more people and then recruit. No, I don't think we chose poorly. We got unlucky, a little bit unlucky there, but it's not gonna make a real big difference. I don't think. But yeah, good night. It'll give us those people eventually. But yeah, have a good week and see you next time.